Yo. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Ordinal Revolution. Today's just going to be a Ordinal Sunday. This is an ordinary Sunday. It's going to be fun, relax, chill. We're going to get into a lot of topics, a lot of good stuff happening. I had Francis on the show earlier. He kind of showcased the Stats Pump Fun, and we're going to take a look at it with Matty and Yagobi. So it should be a really fun one. So without further ado, let's bring them in. Let's bring in Yagobi. Let's bring in Matty. What's up, boys?
What's
Yo.
up? Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday,
Funday.
man. How are you guys doing today?
Good, man. Yeah.
Doing well.
You know, errands, that kind of stuff. Errands, Twitter, family stuff, Twitter.
How you guys feel about the markets, right? It being Sunday, it being, tomorrow. It didn't dump today. We're sitting around, almost 63. How you guys feeling?
Yeah, bounced back pretty strong actually today. We got all the way to 62. What was that, like almost 63,000? It wicked right at that 63, right under that 63. It might have actually wicked right above it. But anyways, it was something that I've been kind of expecting, right? Like I told you that I felt like at least that we kind of changed trajectory at the end of last week, and then I felt like the weekend would be kind of back and forth, and we actually are having a little bit more of a positive Sunday than I expected, but I definitely didn't expect like a big dump or anything like that. Now this week is going to be a little volatile. I think Monday and Tuesday we probably do have some good positive price action, but then we have some economic data that will come in, and I think that's going to get things volatile. So
yeah, Thursday we have the CPI, and Friday we have the PPI. Just for Matty, who is a Canadian, for some reason these matter here. I don't know why.
Oh yeah. All this stuff, like the stuff with the U.S., it matters, and people don't realize that. Like the U.S. is the superpower, right? So everything that happens in the U.S. kind of just ripples around the world, right? And us being our neighbors, we get pretty much. We might as well just be the same country at this point. Except for a lot of your guys' shit you do wrong.
Yeah, it's. I feel like a lot of the people, at least like the blue collar and maybe some like veteran type of people, feel similar in both countries. But I feel like a lot of the same stuff is happening in the world in both countries. But how do you feel, Matty, in terms of like Bitcoin's price action? Us being in the first week of supposed to be October, but didn't start off that way. Are you disappointed on how October started, and what's your expectation?
No, the markets don't look at date, right? Like October is, historically mid-month, end of month, that kind of thing. Bitcoin price, I'm not really following it that much. It's been up and down between 55 and 70 for a year. I guess maybe less than a year. Honestly, it's just buying, right? I'm buying if it's high, I'm buying if it's low, I'm buying ordinals, I'm just buying. The price doesn't matter to me, right? Like that's the price is basically the ticket price to get into the ordinal ecosystem, basically. So if I'm getting a deal and it's low, I'm getting a deal, I'm happy.
Yeah. But you run out of liquidity, right? Or do you have like a endless well of just keep buying whenever Bitcoin is down? And I'm just kidding.
Well, he has he has a job, so he gets money every week. He's not like us.
Okay.
I got a job, and I take that money and then it goes to my wife. So then I sell some ordinals they don't really want to let go of to get into other things. That's how I fund my degeneracy.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So earlier today I had Francis on. It was really random. He was like, "Yo, you want to go live with me?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then his channel wasn't working, so I had to pop on my channel or our channel, and I was just like, "All right, let's do it." So he broke down Stats Pump Fun with me. So if you go to alpha.statspump.fun, and I don't know if he was supposed to share this, but he did it earlier, so I said, "Screw it, let's continue the fun here." So, Stats Pump Fun. What's your overall look at it? Just looking at it for pretty much the first time.
Have you taken a look at it, Matty, or is this the first time?
I got the link from you guys just now. So
Gotcha.
First look, it's very busy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of glanced at it a little bit when you guys were. I was at Costco when you guys were on your live stream earlier, so I glanced a little bit.
You had chicken bake?
Meatball bake.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I haven't gotten a lot of into this, but it looks nice. I know Francis said he's going to change a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just excited for the functionality. You know.
For me, from a first glance, it does look like there's a lot going on, but I think that's what pump.fun is like, you know, in terms of like the activity. But I actually look at this and I guess if you explain to the audience, you know, like you're able to buy $10 at a time really quickly. The platform is created to make you know it really easily usable, right? And so I think that's what we're gonna see. You know, and I think we're gonna experience that pump.fun, because honestly, I would say, if I were to guess, and I probably would be completely wrong because I'm just throwing a dart in the dark, but like, you know, probably 70% of people in our space, maybe even higher, haven't experienced pump.fun. You know, I know I haven't, you know, exactly. And so, you know, if it does create the buzz that pump.fun did on Solana, then, you know, one thing I think all three of us can agree on is that, you know, we do have a lot of degens over here, and they like to degen. So that is something that could really, you know, get momentum going, you know, especially for like the Cat 20 tokens and all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I voted for degen mode when they put that tweet out. So like that makes sense to me.
He was shocked by that. He was like, I thought they would go for the other versions. So he was like blown away by the fact that people we're freaking degening shit over here, right? Like, I mean, there's no more degening than degening on Bitcoin, in my opinion. I mean, we're looked at it as scum, right, by the maxis. Like, you know, we're the scum on the bottom of their shoe. So it's just like,
we're looked at as scum by not just the maxis, but other people in the ordinals that are playing it safe. We just throw money everywhere. I don't even have money. Just throwing.
But
one thing I did
God.
Oh, sorry, dude. One thing I did notice though, that top right corner, you can actually change that lightning buy to whatever you want.
Up here?
That's big. Yeah, I really like that. I really like that. Yeah, because then at that point
I can go real degen. I can go 1,000.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it though, like if you know, I'm sure there's gonna be whales that change that to 500 or 1,000, and like, you know, they're just trying to get into, you know, a token that can, like, if you buy $1,000 into like $100,000 market cap, and you 10x that. Huh? Oh yeah, it's gonna be even less. So you know,
like
1,000 into a $10,000 market cap, because the bonding curve is what, 60,000?
Yeah.
Okay, so like, let's say 10,000. Then by the time it gets to 60,000, you 6x it, right? And so what I heard is, like, actually the strategy is to sell before it gets to the bonding curve, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, if you can get in at, like, you know, like $1,000 market cap, and then it gets to like 60,000, then, you know, 60x off of, you know, you make a $60,000 or, you know, $59,000 profit right then and there. Now, obviously, that's going to be hard to like hit that every single time, because you know, I don't know what the percentage is for these coins to get to the bonding curve, but I would imagine it should be probably a decent percentage, or else people wouldn't do it, right?
I think for me, I mean, 100%. I agree. But like, I think for me, the trick would be to just throw $10 at everything that pops new, right? Because if you get in at like a 200-hour market cap, 300-hour market cap, I mean, that $10 could be 10,000, right? It could be something crazy. So for me, it would be like sitting here and just kind of keep refreshing till something new pops up, and then just throwing like, I don't know, 20, 40, $50 at it, right? And then just seeing what happens and coming back later and kind of, it's a lottery. I'm 100% gambling, but if you hit one time, that could be game changing.
But what
especially
big,
the early days.
What big tokens came out of pump.fun? Like that
dog with fat.
That came out of pump.fun? You know that for a fact?
Positive, 100%.
Okay, so that, I mean, damn. That's at like what's the market cap? It's over $1 billion, right?
Yeah. A little bit over. I think it almost hit 2 before it came back down to about 800K, and then back up.
800 million, you mean?
800 million, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, in that case, then yeah, you probably.
That's what I'm saying. And but that was like one of the first tokens, right? So in the early days, you're gonna have it's gonna be kind of like how Runes was, how in the very couple days where everyone's just minting everything, and then obviously a lot of it comes back down. So but this will be different because they're Cat 20s, and Cat 20s are already riding now, right? They're already kind of like doing their thing. So I don't know, man. It just seems like such an opportunity for us here, especially being like open minded, like all three of us are, and willing to try different things. Because the closed minded people, they're all stuck, right? They're stuck in their ways until something gets big, and then they miss out on a lot of stuff.
Well, Dog with Hat, real quick, is $2.4 billion market cap right now.
Yeah.
So that's actually really solid. So if you got in
at 10,000, well, and Ansem, that was his big call. Ansem.
Gotcha.
So
it's gonna be interesting.
That was his number one. That was his rise to fame, pretty much.
Yeah. So Yasher says for sure expect lots of rugs on sat.fun. It's how this game's played. Yeah, exactly. But I think in the beginning there's gonna be like a couple that hit big because it's brand new, right? And then once it gets exhausted, that's when there's gonna be more, like the percentage of rugs I believe will go more larger, right? Because you can't. You're gonna run out of liquidity. You can't have all these like be successful. But I don't know, Matty. What's your approach as someone? I feel like you're kind of like in this degen and conservative. You're a conservative degen. I don't even know if that's an oxymoron. But like, what would be your approach to something like this?
Well, knowing that Francis said that liquidity pools are pulled away, so they can't be rugged. That's a positive thing that allows me to feel like I can put more money into it.
That's afterwards, though.
Okay.
So that's after the bonding period. That 60,000 is locked.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
On Solana, it's burned, but over here, DotSwap's just gonna lock it, whatever that means. So I'm good. I cut you off.
Okay. Yeah. No, totally fine. I think it's gonna be similar. Like I'll sell some stuff so I have some liquidity just before it launches, and then I'll just go into stuff that looks interesting that's in the new category, and then just try not to lose my shirt. I played a little bit with some Telegram bots trading Sol coins, and I didn't do well. So that's just I'll just throw like 10, 20 bucks at it. It's hard, right? Because I want to throw like 100 bucks at something and then hope it goes, 60,000% or whatever it is. But I gotta just kind of control myself there, and maybe, like you said, 10, 20 bucks in each thing, and hope that something hits 100 or 1,000x right away. And if I get hurt too many times, I might just slow down a little bit.
Yeah, very similar. All right, we're gonna move on from this, but this is really cool. Real quick, you can see new, then about to succeed, and then succeeded. So these will all be on DotSwap about the time that this goes live. So if you see them over here, it's too late. If you see them over here, you better hurry, or you're about to get dumped on. Either you're about to get dumped on, or you're about to get your liquidity sent to DotSwap. And this one is going to be the brand new ones where I'll probably spend most of my time.
Yeah.
But
go ahead, Matty.
I was just gonna say, like Claudio said, are we just DJing into everything? Like, I mean, you're gonna see some that you're gonna know are gonna be decent, right? Just by the name, you're gonna be able to, just by the experience of being in the Ordinals ecosystem and everything. But yeah, I mean, like, it's a lottery, right? That's the thing about the pump fund model. It's like you're just spraying and praying, right? Hoping you hit.
Well, I'm gonna play a little bit smarter. I'm gonna go to Twitter and put in the ticker and hope that there's some Chinese writing, right? I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Dude, yes, the Chinese definitely love to degen, and they have tons of liquidity, but I mean, they do have their version of like pumping and dumping too, so I don't know if I would just stick with that only. But one thing I didn't think about is the Sats Pump Fund can really onboard a lot of people to Fractal that's not used to UTXO ecosystems, right? And then get them familiar, get them to, first of all, number one, to open a Unisat wallet. I guess he didn't like what I was saying there. No, I'm just kidding.
He said I'm out.
No, but like number one, open a Unisat wallet. That's actually onboarding. Oh, there he is. There he is. So what I was saying was that like Sats Pump Fund can actually onboard a lot of people from outside of the ecosystem to, number one, open a Unisat wallet. And so that in a way will onboard someone to the Bitcoin ecosystem because they can easily transition to Bitcoin too, right? But more than that, like the Sats Pump Fund can really just like have liquidity injected into these, and people are gambling left and right. And let's say that there's a bit of exhaustion and some of these coins go up really high and people are like, they've made, 100, 200 X's on a lot of these things. And they say, okay, well, I don't want to gamble as much on Pump.Fund. Let me put some stuff in Glizzy and Pizza Swap, or let me put some stuff in like something that's, a little bit safer. Could you see that scenario playing out at all?
Yeah, I mean, like, use me as an example. If I start making a few 200 X's, then I'm going to start looking at other stuff that, wouldn't necessarily be able to get into, like, go back over to ordinals and pick up some higher priced ordinals that I know are going to fly in the bull run, right? Like once I can unlock that liquidity, like if I'm playing with a limited amount of money still, and if I can blow it up here and then move that liquidity over to ordinals or over to
runes. I know you love runes.
Runes, yeah.
Then we're gonna get into that. Don't worry.
Yeah, we will. But yeah, I think that's not just my mindset. I think that especially with a lot of people that come over here from outside the ecosystem, if they start hitting some good numbers here, they might start looking around, especially with the frictionless onboarding from Fractal to Bitcoin and Bitcoin to Fractal, right? So they're going to jump in. They're going to be like, okay, I have all this FB now. What do I do with it? Oh, well, there's BRC20s. There's ordinals on Fractal. Oh, I can actually bridge right over to Bitcoin. Now I'm on Bitcoin buying ordinals and runes and BRC20s and tap. Like it's good for the ecosystem if we can get people from outside in with this model.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
All right. It's kind of any last words on this before we go?
No, I was just gonna say, the onboarding part. I think we have to remember that like functionality and user experience is definitely important because we've seen that with Bitcoin Layer 1 kind of be a hurdle, I guess a barrier to onboard a ton of people. But the marketing aspect of Bitcoin and fungible tokens is the reason why they came. So now on Fractal, what's going to happen is the opposite, where UX and usability is going to be so much better because of Cat20s and all the stuff. But the marketing part, that's going to be important, right? Because Solana owns that in terms of anything besides like Bitcoin or Ethereum, right? And so can Fractal, Bitcoin, and Unisat really pour into this marketing? And I think it's going to have to be like the community of this Bitcoin ecosystem and like, Unisat's ecosystem and stuff to really push that. I think it can happen. But like there's going to be a moment where we recognize that either it is happening or it's not. And that can be scary.
100%. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, you just gotta know when to call it, right? Like, it's an experience thing again, right?
100%.
All right, before I get on to some rune stuff, I just want to show this chart. This is the chart that we see from all the haters around the space. I want to show the fractals chart. What do you guys think about this? And do you think the bottom is in at around $6, or do you think we go lower, or do we bounce from here?
It doesn't make a difference for me. I mean, like I said, I just get a cheaper entry price into the ecosystem. I'm able to stack FB. If it goes up, then great. I'm making a bit of money there. And if it goes down, then I'm getting more fractal and I'm able to participate more in the ecosystem. Stack my bags for the bull run when Bitcoin, Fractal, Ethereum, Solana, everything just goes up.
Yeah. What's the live price? Because I see it at like right now
$7.87.
Okay, so it's a little bit higher than you stated there.
Well, the low was $6.
Yeah, it
that was
bounced
like
back.
The all-time low.
Yeah, it bounced back. I think some people are seeing the potential of it, and then they're scooping up those low prices. I also think that there was a lot of miners that sold down, just because they were. Look, I bet a lot of people feel kind of like us right now, you know. And I don't know if Matty, you feel this way. It's like we have assets that we know are going to be worth like a good amount in X's coming up, but like we're like paper rich. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we're like digital rich, and not like we're waiting, right? We're waiting for that big pump to happen for Q4. And I think miners probably feel that way too, and that's probably why the ones that were merge mining were probably selling down their fractal, because it made sense. Because like to them, that's like that's assets that they can liquidate and not feel like ugh in my opinion, as opposed to liquidating their Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, I'd hate to actually figure out how much I've spent since May of last year, right, on assets that I'm still holding, right? I mean, I've got thousands of assets on ordinals, and I've got thousands of assets on fractal, which actually didn't cost me that much. But like, and then that's not to mention the chains that I've been interacting in that I don't even remember interacting in, right? Like, when that's the hard part. Like, how much? It's just hard to think about how much I've spent, and you know, and selling is the hard part, right? Like, it goes up, and you don't want to miss more gains, so it's hard to sell, right? So anyway, taking profits is tough.
So the for fractal for me was like, why would someone hold this token? You know, if the miners are just constantly mining and dumping, why would you hold? But today, Lorenzo gave us a reason to hold. I don't know if you guys seen this, but Lorenzo dropped something today. It was fractal voting unlock new possibilities with on-chain governance on Bitcoin. Introduction to fractal voting. As we develop fractal with the goal to be a native as possible to Bitcoin in both technology and values, it's only natural for us to think about building tools for on-chain voting and governance to empower the community to truly adhere to the Bitcoin core values of decentralization, inclusion, and transparency. This gave birth to fractal voting, an innovative initiative designed to bring decentralized staking and voting management to the Bitcoin network, achieved by leveraging Bitcoin's UTXOs system and OpCat on Fractal Bitcoin Network. We encourage the community to utilize this platform to proactively for governance on various issues, fostering a genuinely open, decentralized, and community-first ecosystem. How fractal voting works. So there's staking, voting system, unlocking assets. So they're saying you'll be able to. There's no lock period. So if you lock up 10,000 fractal, you get 10,000 votes, right? So then you will have to wait a cooling off period, which is usually around 2 weeks, 2 weeks to a month. I've seen a month being the biggest. I think it's Polkadot, and 2 weeks kind of being the smallest. And they do that so you don't just buy 10,000 fractal, vote, and then sell, right? So this is a big deal to me, because this gives you a reason to hold the fractal, and not for people like us, right? Because we're small time, but it gives reason for the big guys to really hold a giant portion of this, because then they control the chain. If you're rich, money doesn't mean much to you, but power does. How do you guys feel about all that?
Go ahead, Yagobi.
I was gonna say, and I feel like in crypto, even if you're rich, money means a lot to you, because like these whales, bro, they kill the minnows a lot of times, right? No, but like it depends on how rich, right? Like if you are at like obviously like a billionaire, then like you're trading totally different. It's more like for fun, just to try to gamify everything. But yeah, this does make a big difference. The governance aspect of it, what kind of power do they get? Giving utility to it, and also we talked about this on Bill's Corner a bit. There's going to be a point in time where the miners do stop selling. These big whales stop selling because they're going to look at what happened with BNB or like tokens like that were strong chains, and what happened to them in the bull run, right? Because circulation, circulating supply, like after a token launches in the short term after, that's going to be your biggest opportunity for the market cap to really jump up whenever a bull run is here, right? So I think that's why I think Fractal has so much of an opportunity for that price to like really jump, because after when the bear market comes and the price goes back down, the sell down happens. It's so much harder to get that price back up. It'll happen if it's a popular chain, but it's right now is kind of like, do you get what I'm saying? When that circulating supply is not fully out.
Yeah, I mean, you get new coins every day, right? I mean, that's kind of so someone's constantly going in and taking Bitcoin out and putting FB in. I mean, that's kind of how LP pools work, right? If you're constantly just putting something in and taking something out, obviously, it's supply and demand. So, but I don't think the problem is the miners selling. I just think the problem is the demand, and this gives the FB demand, right?
Yeah, but I was talking about more of like, the total, how much percent of the total supply will be out into the public, because that depends on how the supply and demand will be affecting the price, right? Because like over the longer period of time, there's gonna be
Yeah.
more supply that comes in. That's why I say the first bull run, that these miners and these whales that have FB, that they recently sold because the market conditions, but eventually they're going to stop because they realize that this is going to be their chance for like FB to get to $200 or $300, because that, next time, it's going to take a lot longer, is all I'm saying.
I'm going to say the unpopular opinion. There's 105 million FB sitting in 5 wallets, and if voting is based upon the amount of FB that you have, then I could see that being an issue. It's why I don't like DAOs. Like DAOs on paper are good, but when the ratio of voting is based on how much of an asset you hold rather than you as one person voting, I find it just skews to the people that are up here rather than everybody.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that
pushback on that though is a lot of that's locked up for different people. So yeah, it's sitting in 5 wallets, but the unlocking period doesn't happen for I think it's like 7 months is when it starts to dripping out. So yeah, it's all locked up in 5 wallets, but those wallets can't vote because there is no people.
They're
holding them.
multi-sigs, right?
Yeah, they're multi-sigs. The only
Okay.
way for them to actually move is if all 3 of the 4 wallets, 5, whatever it is, to actually move them out. And yeah, it's sitting in 5 wallets, but that's just easy use because they know on a spreadsheet who they actually belong to.
Yeah, and I get that. I mean, but again,
I think,
I'm not.
you're talking about
I'm
more
not.
of like the fundamentals of like a DAO and how, I mean, because like
Well,
you're right, like they can also collude in like there's no regulation against that, or like stopping that. Like whales can make all the decisions for the chain and stuff eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with like what the free mind is for. I've very publicly stated we know what it's for. Like you can't just drop a blockchain or whatever and expect everything to just happen organically over the first month, right? So they pull this out, they do their thing, but that's still 50% of the supply, which is going to be astronomically higher than anybody else, even if everybody's together until the the supply is mined out, right? And I'm not saying that Unisat will do this. I'm just stating that's what went in my mind immediately when you talk about DAOs, right? Like I said, DAOs are good on paper, but if they don't do the voting right, it can be a problem, which is why I don't like them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In the end, though, this makes the price of FB go up, right, guys? Don't you both agree?
100%.
Oh, no, it's good for that for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and if it's somebody like who wants to be a part of this, all they got to do is buy in. Like they don't need permission from anybody. They can just buy as much FB as they want, and they can control what they want to happen. But the only problem is with this is like with Bitcoin, the miners have all the power. The miners control what happens on a day to day. Why don't the miners control what happens here? Why are we doing the staking mechanism in this very centralized way? Because and then Unisat actually has to go and make adjustment. Maybe it's because Unisat has the most of the hash power. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's just weird that we're doing proof of stake and proof of work in the same scenario.
Yeah, I haven't even I haven't even thought of that.
Yeah, that is weird. That is weird that they're doing the governance like that. I wonder why they wouldn't just do governance like how Bitcoin does.
Because there's no reason to hold the FB token.
Well, I mean, what's the reason? You're still mining it. Like you're using energy to be able to create FB and be able to earn it, right? So it's like fundamentally it's the same concept as Bitcoin, right?
Exactly the same.
And so maybe it's because like there's not as many like diverse number of miners like there is with Bitcoin, because
Yeah.
it's just starting with fractal Bitcoin. And so it would be very centralized in that aspect of what happens. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe this is the way to decentralize it.
Until
Hey, we have 60% of the hash
yeah.
power. Once we lose that, then this no longer makes a difference.
Yeah,
That's true.
But like, what other proof of work chain has a huge mining community other than Bitcoin? Like, Cardano is are they proof of
They're
work
proof of
still?
stake.
They
Proof of stake.
okay, so
They've never been proof of work. Yeah.
really
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
Caspa. I mean, like Ethereum. If Ethereum would have stayed proof of work, they had a large community of
Yeah.
miners, man, because they were thriving. Because
Mhm.
they weren't like the small and medium sized miners that were mining with Bitcoin. It got too competitive, so they were like, you really have to make sure the season's right and all these things. So
Mhm.
they went to Ethereum and they were making buku bucks. I knew a couple miners that just like average dudes that ended up doing
Yeah.
very well doing that, right? But
Well, it's because Vitalik lost control. Once the miners had it, Vitalik couldn't buy enough mining machines. The Ethereum Foundation was lacking the mining power, so the Ethereum Foundation couldn't make decisions no more. Once they switched to proof of stake, the Ethereum Foundation was able to. They had enough Ethereum to control the proof of stake. So that was all about power for Vitalik. He wanted to make sure. I mean, he wants Ethereum to grow to be something like insanely successful. But if people are just dumping the tokens or keeping the tokens to vote against him, or keeping the hash power to vote against him, then that's different. I think that's why he switched to proof of stake.
So Claudio said Caspa changed their proof of work recently to Ghost DAG.
I never
didn't
heard
know
of
that.
it. Well, I know
Yeah.
a DAG is what Phantom does. They're not a blockchain; it's a DAG. It's something different. But yeah, let's kind of move on here. I got a tweet from my man MattyVerse. He says he received some fractal bitch. How can I get some fractal bitch, Matty?
Well, it looks like, let me go scroll down a little bit. There you go.
I sent him to
Okay. Yeah. He sent
I need some fractal bitch.
There's only 1,000, and you sent them out to degen. So I guess you're just not degen enough. I thought it was like somebody was mad at me and they threw this at me about fractal. They're like, I'm gonna make this token and send it to people that piss me off. But no, that wasn't it.
Let's ruffle some feathers here. Let's piss off some rune guys. And Yagobi is one of them. No, I'm just kidding. Casey had a tweet that said
this comes from the guy that was like fighting everybody because he was pro runes for like 3 months.
Well, it was because I had nothing else, and now I have Tat 20s, right? So I'm always picking the best standard, and at the time, runes was the best standard.
My opinion hasn't changed since September last year.
So Casey said the rune super cycle is where they all hit 0 and then somehow go negative. He posted that on a
that's a bull post, man.
Ord.io.
That's a bull post.
No, that's the opposite. Casey hates runes. Casey hates runes. He the only reason he even created runes so he can keep the Ord client clean from BRC20s. He was trying to kill BRC20s. It's the only reason. He hates runes to death. But what do you guys? That's what I got from this. What do you guys get from this?
I don't think he hates runes to death because he's I don't know Casey. Like, he was on the first panel at Inscribing Singapore. I didn't get to talk to him or anything like that. And so, but I can tell you one thing that I would guess how he is. If he creates something, he wants that something to be the best. That's what I've gotten from his, like, just from an outside perspective, being around him, at least like watching him talk live and stuff like that. He might not love the idea of fungible tokens on Bitcoin, but I can promise you that he wants fungible token like runes to be the main standard on Bitcoin. And to me, this is actually a bull post because this is like his psyop post that's saying, things are about to thrust up because I don't know, you guys really haven't been paying attention to runes, but like for me, this is exactly why I do what I do. And I play the board. I don't go all in and put all my eggs in one side. I put a little bit of my eggs over here if I feel like that's strong, a little bit over here if I feel like this is strong, a little bit over here if I feel like that's strong, because they're gonna pop at different levels, and maybe I missed one completely, but at least I had 2 other places. And right now, I'm telling you, I feel like this energy of runes that's starting to like really come up right now. I mean, you see, like $1 billion cat is up 17.3% at $54 million market cap, and just like 2 weeks ago, it was at like I think like 17 million or something. You got Pups at $157 million market cap. It was at 70 million not long ago. And then you have these other ones that are starting to really come up, right? And start to solidify. So I think like once Bitcoin does break through, you're going to see the runes ecosystem really thrive, in my opinion, in terms of price and market cap. But that's just my perspective. That's me making an opinion right now, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm okay to be wrong, but that's the opinion I make right now.
All right, Matty.
I really shit on runes. That's it's not because I don't think the runes will do well. It's one of the things. It's one of the protocols that I think is going to boom when the bull run happens. It just will, and that's because of who's behind it. The reason I shit on it is because way back into September when it was announced, I did some research. I looked into it, and then I realized that the same thing that you said, Shizzy, it was made because Casey was pissed off that BRC20s were overtaking ordinals. And it could be argued that ordinals wouldn't have gotten to where it was without BRC20s. It was like, I'm just making up a percentage here, but it was like 70-80% of all inscriptions on ordinals was
It might have been
BRC20s.
higher.
Yeah. I mean, and I could see him making this ordinals protocol, and he made it for art or whatever else he made it for, and he was happy with it. And then Domo came by and made this token that really bunged up the protocol and the blockchain, and he wanted to get it off of there. He didn't like BRC20s. He stated he doesn't like fungible tokens. He knows it's a casino, and he wanted to create runes to get it off of ordinals, and so that he could control the narrative. That's my opinion on it, and that's the reason why I shit on it. Then I'm not crazy. I know that people are going to make money. I know it's going to pump. I have runes still. Like, people attack the shit out of me when I say bad things about runes, but I hold runes. I'm not just staying out of the ecosystem because I don't agree with it, like some people are with Fractal, right?
Yeah.
If you don't agree with it, you can't deny that it's going to pump. You just like we're here to make money too. But I shit on runes, and that's the reason that I shit on runes. And I've said it many times, and I posted pictures of my tweets. Like, runes was implemented, it could have been better, right? Like, pipe was implemented pretty well. There's art on pipe. There's tokens on pipe. There's just no infrastructure, right? Like, a UTXO model is a good model. It really is. But the reason that it was made is what pisses me off, and that's why I'm against runes.
I understand that. Like, I remember when the announcement of runes came out, like I was really pissed. I remember like I was like ranting and raving about like how I was so bullish on BRC20s and like he's trying to mess. Basically, I got mad because like I felt like Casey was trying to mess with my bags, honestly. Like at the end of the day, and I think that like we get emotional sometimes about that, right? But one thing, real quick, I want to hear your response to this. But like, one thing that I do agree that there is some bit of like maybe power control there with Casey. But if you do look back at like the UTXO pollution that BRC20s creates, it's bad. And it was like you couldn't really put that same blame on tap tokens because the narrative wasn't there. So the volume wasn't. It's the same thing though, like transfer inscriptions, right? But like on the BRC20 side, there's tons of UTXO pollution, right? So he had that in his back pocket to say, hey, look, I have a like moral obligation to create something new. Now, here's where I agree with you that like it could be a power trip situation. Is he could have jumped on the backs of either pipe, or he could have jumped on the backs of ARC20 because both of those are UTXO model tokens.
Pipe didn't exist yet.
Yeah,
Well,
pipe was made after.
that came
Pipe
out
was
after.
you smoking a pipe.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's say
ARC-20s though. Yeah. Keep going.
he could have jumped on the back of that and said, "Hey, let's work together to solidify this," and then ARC-20s would have been what runes are right now. Like,
Exactly.
but that's where I think
Better.
I agree with you that he wanted to, and this is why I think he does care if it fails or not, is because he went out of his way instead of saying, "Hey, let's collaborate with ARC-20s and make this ecosystem robust, and we can stop BRC-20s together." He went ahead and created his own fungible token standard in runes. So that's where I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and I don't deny that. BRC-20 is really, I wasn't lying. It really bunged up the mempool and it bunged up the order client, and there's a lot of waste with BRC-20s. It's undeniable. I'm not even arguing that. But you're right. Like Atomicals, like those guys were pissed when he announced his Runes protocol, because a lot of the things that he put in Runes protocol already existed on ARC-20. So if you wanted to altruistically pull the shit off of the Ord client or the mempool, then he could have jumped into a community that's already doing that, and he didn't. Right? He wanted to make it himself. So I think there was a bit of an ego thing there, and I don't like. I'm all about decentralization, and when people are trying to control things one way or the other, it also happened on the back of the inscription number thing, and he was trying to get rid of inscription numbers, right? Like
a week prior.
And I said a million times, Casey doesn't control ordinals. It's decentralization. We're supposed to be working towards decentralization, not controlling a protocol the way that you want it to be done. So getting rid of inscription numbers and then pulling this runes bullshit, and you snubbing ARC-20s, and then it's a lot of history there in my mind. Maybe I'm the only one there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's trying to control a client that it was working fine. He made ordinals and he disappeared, right? He wasn't really involved, and then he came back. He's like, inscription numbers can go. Cursed inscriptions are garbage. I'm gonna do runes because BRC-20s took over this protocol. Just let it grow, let it live, right? It's a decentralized situation.
He spoke about, like, in Singapore, about his absence during that period, and it was because there was a lot of things that were happening within ordinals that he didn't necessarily agree with, and and he had to, well, not just that, I think, like, just in general, and he had to take a step back and a leave of absence because he was getting like his responses were like internal emotional responses, like anger, or like, and he didn't want to lash out publicly for that. I mean, if I remember what he was saying, that was the kind of the context. I could have got that wrong, so don't quote me. That wasn't exactly word for word what he was saying, but that's what I got the gist from it. And then when he calmed down, he came back. Right. So when he came back, but the one thing I didn't really understand was the inscription number thing that he was trying to get rid of. I get, like, trying to fix the cursed inscriptions, and I don't know if that was the easiest way, only I'm sure that was why. But like, when you remove inscription numbers, that's a layer of value that actually helps what you wanted to create in the first place, art on Bitcoin. And so I think Leonidas, like, love him or hate him, we got to give him props for really standing up to Casey on that. Honestly, because if we would have got rid of inscription numbers, that would suck, man. Because, like, you're talking about the early inscription collections, Node Monks, Honey Badger, stuff like that wouldn't necessarily hold value as, down the road like they would if they went away.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna start off my statement with really a question for you guys first. Do you think OpCat will be on Bitcoin, Matty?
Yes. Oh,
down the road. I don't think it'll happen soon.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do right now. I do. Yeah. That could change if like the quantum cats and cat, that if they just fade away and, like, you don't hear about them anymore, then I would say, oh, maybe not.
I think it 100% gets on Bitcoin. So for me, Runes are going to be another legacy version of the tokens. Once we get Cat 20s, that needs no indexers, that needs no transfer inscription, that needs really nothing, that actually can allow real DeFi and real staking and real type of environment that we all kind of wish we had, right? When we see happening with Ethereum, we see happening and stuff like that. We're going to have that with Cat 20s. And even if Catnip does come out, the way it works, it doesn't need an indexer. So it's just a miner. So they're actually going to live together. There's going to be no difference between a Catnip token and a Cat 20. And if someone else makes another token standard, if it is an OpCat standard, they're all just going to mesh. There's going to be no difference because they're all going to be contracts. The contracts are going to look different. They're going to look smaller or bigger, but they're all going to live on the Bitcoin network together, and every single UTXO chain that has OpCat on it, right? So for me, why am I playing in Runes when I can be getting in something so early, right? Yeah, I might miss out on some gains on some Runes. I might miss out on, pumps and stuff like that. But for me, I can get into the very first token, which is Cat. I can get into the very first meme coins like Kitty Cash and Kitten and stuff like that, and kind of be super early to something. Yeah, my time horizon, I might miss out on some gains, and I might be able to get some gains and bring it over. But I don't know when that rocket ship's going to take off, right? I don't know when, like Fleur just announced today that they have something big coming. I don't want to miss that. And for me, Runes is going to die once OpCat starts. I mean, it's obvious, right? And when I say die, I just mean become legacy. Dog of the Moon, go to the moon. Once it gets on Binance, because they're working on Binance, it'll be a Bitcoin derivative, just like Ordi, just like Sats. And I don't think they're going to die, but activity will stop on the Bitcoin chain. Like Ordi barely trades on the Bitcoin chain, but it trades a lot on Binance. It trades a lot on all the other exchanges. Same thing will happen to $1 Billion Cat. Same thing will happen to Dog. It'll be the top Runes will go to Binance and they'll do really well. But for me, I want DeFi. I'm always been a DeFi guy first. I want excitement. I want crazy stuff. I want Ponzi schemes. I want the DeFi landscape to hit me in the face and say, this is what's going on. Right.
Yeah.
So for me, why am I playing in Runes? Why am I playing in BRC20s when I could be playing with the winner, which I already think is there?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
So first of all, I feel like deja vu, because what you're saying about Cat, you're literally saying about Runes like months ago, right? And then you were saying, but BRC20s was taking Rune's spot in today's conversation, right? Yeah, like 100%. So I think that like we got to be careful when we jump to assumptions that are we think are going to be 100% right. So that's the number one thing I'll say.
No, but Runes are better than BRC20s because of trade subscription. But that's the only thing.
Sure.
So that was the best. That was the best we had.
But that wasn't just your statements were like Runes are the future. This is it. That's what you were saying. But I get why you're saying that. That was as far as advanced we had. So that's the first thing.
Chase the innovation.
The second thing, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I don't necessarily, for the first time, I don't necessarily want like this crazy ass like crazy ass DeFi type of functionalities on Bitcoin to where we Ponzi schemes and stuff like that. I think that we can utilize that on like Fractal and Merlin and these stacks and side chains. That doesn't mean like it can't be built here, but you have to also remember like they're not going to increase the speed of Bitcoin layer 1 functionality. It's still going to be 10-minute blocks. Now this really depends on how you perceive like certain ecosystems that are going to be coming in the future, like Arch Network and Bison Labs, because they're going to be kind of like hybrid, like roll up type situations. And people are going to say, well, this is pretty much like Bitcoin layer 1. But in terms of like Bitcoin layer one, I mean, imagine having like tune forks and stuff on Bitcoin. It just doesn't sit well with me anymore for some reason. Like, and I'm not saying like don't do it. This is all like permissionless, right? So if someone build it. But like my point is that I think like the hard assets on Bitcoin, like Runes and ordinals and stuff, I think they're going to be viewed as like a step up, a level up. They're on Bitcoin. They were birthed here. They, they're whether they, Cat 20 starts coming over and we have this degen stuff on Bitcoin, it's not going to be as fun as it would be on somewhere faster. So we'll see. We'll have to see how the future plays out. But I think if we did maintain that though, like what I'm saying, right? Like ordinals and Runes, and like Runes is like swapped on Magic Eden or like Fluid, they get to this point to where it's like, a solid like liquidity flow in and out, TVL builds up, but then like the other side chains are the ones where everybody gambles with. I think that's like the most like bullish environment in my opinion.
Yeah, but you're forgetting one thing is we're no longer going to have side chains anymore once Opcat gets put on Bitcoin. We're going to have real L2s that finalize on Bitcoin. So what is the difference if I'm on an L5 but it finishes on Bitcoin? It's going to be the same exact thing.
Well,
right?
I mean, it depends on like if the what type of asset is being born with those layer 2s, right? And if they're going to be like
They're all going to be Cat 20s.
Well, that's
or a
that.
catnip.
Like I don't know what that.
token.
I don't know what that looks like, right? Until we actually get it in front of our faces and stuff like that. And because I'm done speculating to that far of a degree in terms of the timeline. What I want to speculate now on is like this thing just got released. I'm playing around with it, and I can speculate on how I think people are going to perceive it and how bullish this that's working right now in front of me is going to be, rather than a promise that, hey, we're bringing this over and it's going to be badass. I'm just done with those type of situations.
Yeah, but you can't do anything with your runes. You're just going to be holding them, right? That's the only thing you can do with them is hold them.
Well,
for me, that doesn't sit well.
Well, no, I disagree. I think Magic Eden's going to come out with like a swap that's going to be able to swap these in and out.
Swap.
No,
we have that with Fluid already.
They're saying that that's the next step, but the finalized step is going to be like a centralized exchange type of situation.
You just said you don't want to speculate on that.
Well,
like,
I know.
That could be a year away.
I'm just telling you. Asked me like what what they say is coming. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Until that's in front of me, like like we can only trade on Bitcoin what there is right now. Right. So what there is right now on Bitcoin is, like you said, the best thing is runes in terms of like functionality and in and out, and digital artifacts is ordinals. Right. Yeah. And then everything else like fractal and all that stuff, I'm excited to play with that.
Yeah. God, Matty, because people are questioning if you're muted or not.
Yeah, I just shake my head. No, I was just letting them go back and forth for a minute. I'm going to go on a couple-minute rant here.
Go ahead, do your thing.
Just let me go. So I agree with the Cat 20. It is going to be everywhere. I don't know how long it'll be until Bitcoin gets OpCat. There's a lot more happening there than, and there needs to be a lot more consensus in order to get OpCat on Bitcoin. You don't only need OpCat. There's chains that still need to implement SegWit in order to get OpCat, get these Cat 20 tokens. And ultimately, don't jump down my throat, but memes are going to die. The utility meme, the utility tokens.
Utility meme.
I'm here, like the utility memes. Yeah, no, I'm here because of what the technology can do. That's what drew me into the space originally in 2021. I'm here for blockchain verification. I'm here for decentralized ID. I'm here for Bitcoin to be used as a payment method and a currency. Whether that's on L2 with Lightning Network, that's the future of blockchain, in my opinion. The memes are great. Like if you're trying to make money, memes are awesome. Like hopefully we all make a ton of money and then we can convert that into Bitcoin in the future. And then, when we're all spending Bitcoin, we're all happy, right? Memes, we've seen it before. Memes come up, they go up, and then they drop off and die, and then we move to the next shiny thing. It's happening in the ecosystem now. BRC20, we got all these tokens, and then the new thing comes out. Everybody moves to that, and then the new thing comes out. The nice thing about OpCat and the Cat 20 tokens is that for the first time, if everybody implements this in their Bitcoin-based blockchain, we can have many communities all meshed together in the same token, and it doesn't matter which Bitcoin blockchain you're on. But ultimately, I just want to spend Bitcoin, man. I want to be able to spend Bitcoin on the stuff that I want to spend it on in the real world. And I want to be able to cut out the middleman and, save the bullshit fees that central banks give us. And like, it's about utility in the end, right? Like eventually we're going to have a use for all this. And it's not going to be flipping around meme tokens all day long. Right? Like that's how I feel.
Well, unfortunately, a report came out that we're about to enter a meme super cycle, so you're not going to be very happy because it's going to last.
I'll be thrilled because if I can jump on it, I'll make a bunch of money that in the
Yeah.
future I'll be able to spend as
Yeah.
Bitcoin in the real world.
But do you understand why we're going through a meme super cycle? There's one reason.
Go ahead.
There's no proper regulation. There's been
Well,
last 4 years, there's been no regulation for crypto whatsoever. Not one bit of regulation that affects anything. So meme coins are the only thing that can 100% not be a security, right? There's no chance a meme coin is a security because nobody is saying you're going to make money off this. Everyone's saying you're going to lose money on this, right? So in my opinion, until we get proper regulation, memes are going to run the world.
and that's fine. I have nothing against memes.
Yeah.
I'm just like that's not the end goal in my opinion.
No,
It's
I
not the end goal
100%
of
agree.
crypto. It's
And
not the
I
end
wish there
goal
was
of
proper
blockchain.
regulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent Bitcoin on a book, okay, and it was awesome. Since then, I've like got Lightning. My wife has Bitcoin in her Lightning wallet now. I was like, just get the damn wallet, and I was like, here you go, and I sent her some money, some Bitcoin. I was like, it's that easy. Now we just need people to adopt it, and like the memes are great. It's fun. This is awesome. And if everybody makes money, that's awesome too. But that's
Yeah.
not the full reason that I'm here anyway.
Yeah, I'm like you. I've always loved like internet technology, computer technology, and stuff like my whole life, right? But let's be real for what like the beginning part of what crypto has been, and it's been a chance for regular everyday people to make it big in terms of like flipping, like getting good at this type of flipping game, right? Now, I do agree. I think it will be like the early days of the internet to where we don't know, we can't really put our finger on like, this is what the future of cryptocurrency is going to be, or Bitcoin is going to be utilized for, but it's going to eventually be utilized for something that's going to be very, very important. Just like the internet eventually was search and information. That was the greatest information tool that we've gotten, in terms of for mankind, right? And so, but the first part of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, it's been to kind of change the everyday people's lives into becoming more wealthy for like passing it down to their generations, because that's what we've seen it to be. And but I'm in agreement with you. I think it's going to take probably another like 5 years to like for the industry to start, once regulation comes in like Shizzy, then companies will invest in large projects that can make revenue, because right now the focus isn't like revenue from like a fundamental business standpoint.
They're afraid. They're afraid to get security laws, afraid to get sued by the SEC. Even like let's say someone like Rockstar, for instance, right? Who are and I'm hearing rumors they're building a marketplace, but they're not going to put it out until that's why the game got delayed again until 2026. Is because they're going to put together their own version of an NFT platform using Rockstar. And I always said this. I don't think the NFT games are going to come from this side. I think they come from that side and they adopt NFTs. I think Rockstar comes on and then Roblox comes on and they give you actually real assets to use in their game, right? So if you want to use this like amazing machete, you can go earn that machete in the game, right? And then let's just say I'm somebody who goes to work 9 to 5. I don't have time to grind for that machete. I can now buy that off you. You put the time in. I don't have the time that you have, but I still want to show my friends. I want to show off that I have that machete. And that's where real world crypto is going to come. That's going to be the first layer, in my opinion. But we don't get that until we get proper regulation. And in that game, you're going to be able to, build cars and then sell those cars. You're going to have actual real world metaverses coming in because of regulation. And that is a big reason why Rockstar won't do anything yet. It's the reason why games like Madden and stuff like that won't put NFTs in the game, is because they're afraid of getting sued by the SEC, being called a security. And for them, it's not worth it. They're already making billions of dollars. Why would they risk it? But until we get proper regulation, and that's why I'm so big what happens on November 5th, because that's the difference between 4 more years of non-regulated crypto and regulated crypto.
So when we're talking about NFTs in games, okay, I always use Diablo 2 as an example. So you guys remember Diablo 2? It was huge, and people were selling items online on eBay and whatever else, and they were making a bunch of money. And then Diablo 3 came out, and they tried the real money auction house, and it kind of flopped. But I don't think that like there a security situation there with that? Like they were selling items technically, right? Was there some sort of crackdown? Is that why they pulled the auction house, or is it because it failed? Like I don't think that having assets in game that can be sold are technically, and I'm not the freaking government, but technically securities, right?
No, I mean I think it's seen as a security. That's why World of Warcraft hasn't done anything like that. You can't you're not allowed to sell your character because they'll actually delete your character because I guess I think it goes against their security violations.
I think that's like a I think that's a violation because they own that avatar. You don't own it. I think that's why they would delete it, right? I think I'm pretty sure it says in terms of service that this is a property and they can be taken at any point, right? Like just like any digital game, like you pay for these games, and then they can take them whenever they want to stop hosting them, right?
Yeah. Well, Fortnite, like I can't go buy a skin off you because I think it'll be considered a a transaction that we're both looking to make money on. So I think that's when it changes. When I'm buying that skin to make money to sell it later that's when it becomes a security.
See, and I know what you're saying when you have when you have the when you think you're going to make money on it, but I don't think that that's the reason why they haven't implemented it. I think that they haven't implemented it because if I can't sell my skin to you, you have to buy that skin as well, and it cuts into their profits. And that's where the royalty thing needs to come in, right?
Yeah, you could be right, 100%. Yeah, but you can't have like real marketplaces though. Like if like they were making money hand over fist with a monthly, let's just say you had to pay $15-$20, they're not caring about that skin because you're paying monthly to play this game, right?
Yeah, but that's right, but the skins are extra income, right? That's
I mean there's a marketplace for Fortnite, like where you could are you're talking about like P2P?
He's talking about reselling.
I get what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, I think you're not allowed to do that. I'm pretty sure because it goes as a security law. I don't think it's Diablo's marketplace not doing well. I think it goes, and that's the thing too, is if I can go in the game and earn that currency while playing the game, now I'm not even using real money to buy these skins. I'm using time earned, right? And that changes, I think, a lot of stuff too. Because now, like I can go, like I said, you use that money I earned in the game to purchase a car. You know what I mean? To add stuff to the car to eventually sell that car to you. I'm doing that. It's a security the entire time I'm doing it, technically to the security laws, right? Until we get real regulation for crypto.
I mean, go ahead.
It's a problem. There's such a white line. That's the problem.
Yeah,
we just don't know where the line is.
Yeah, and we don't know what these guys are thinking, right? Like maybe it's not a security, and they're just doing it and using that as an excuse so that they can make more money off of the user base. Maybe it is a security, and they're doing it because they're avoiding the laws, but they don't want to say that, right? Like it could be anything. But like
you're gonna pick the game where you can do that in, right? Like if Diablo doesn't do that, and then there's another game that does it, you're probably gonna pick the game you do it with, right? You're gonna be able to choose as a person looking in. You're gonna be able to choose and play in the marketplace. You get to play with the invisible hand, right? The invisible hand. Yeah, something Diablo could fail because they don't enable that. No, that's gonna force them all to enable it.
Sure, but also if you think about it, what's the main demographic of video games? It's not us anymore. It's the kids. Kids are going to play what their friends are playing. So if their friends are all playing a game because it's awesome and it doesn't have peer-to-peer trades, those kids aren't going to be like, well, I'm not going to play with you. I'm going to be a loser over here and I'm going to trade my shit. They're going to go play with their friends.
No, because now the kids don't have to get jobs. They don't got to go work at Rita's no more. They can play video games like Grand Theft Auto and earn real money that they're selling to you because you don't have the time like they do.
Yeah,
these kids can go grind away for hours, for 40 straight hours, and make 20, $30. But for them, that's enough because they're living with their parents, and that's enough reason not to go play with their friends. I want to grind this out so I can make $40 and then sell this Rockstar token to Coinbase and cash out.
But what's the difference of like let's say that like I'm doing, I don't know, like hot rod racing or whatever, right? And I get paid if I win these races, the legit league, and I add a supercharger to my car. I'm just making shit up, but I'm just saying. And then I'm like, I want to take time off. I sell that supercharger and someone wants to, like my competitor wants to buy it because it makes his vehicle perform better. What makes that supercharger not a security?
Because you're not buying the actual item itself to sell that later. You're buying it to add on, right? I think that's the difference.
But you know what I mean? I am selling it later for more money.
Yeah. This is a question for Gary. and he won't give you the answer to it. And that's the reason why we've had 4 years of no security laws. This is the reason why
you're right.
crypto hasn't been successful, because we don't know that answer. Nobody does, because Gary doesn't even know the answer. He won't even say if Ethereum is security or not. And like that really comes down to. And it sucks that we always have to come here, but that's at the end of the day, that's why meme coins are going to be running the next 2 years, because we have no regulation.
Yep. So let's talk about what meme coins are winners.
All right, let's kind of get into it. I mean, we just went through why we think meme coins or Matty's why he thinks meme coins would die in 2 years, and I do. I think meme coins are dead once we get proper regulation, because then we actually get real world assets we can invest
except for the ones that are like super
make it the Binance ones, yeah. Because once someone gets to Binance, it no longer becomes, because we know somebody with a coin that said like once it's on Binance, it becomes like bigger than the community. It becomes a derivative against Bitcoin, right? So, but eventually there's gonna be too many derivatives on Bitcoin, right? So,
yeah, no, I agree with that. But what about, so you guys are both more into Fractal than I am at the moment. You know, Glizzy is a really popular BRC20 token that launched there. And I have some exposure to it. I'm curious, let's start with Matty. Like, what do you think about Glizzy? You know, it's the OSD guys that kind of got with like the Chinese community, and there was a lot of hype. It got up to like 120 sats, but now it's down to 50. What do you think the future of Glizzy is going to be?
I think that it's a fun meme, and I think that you know, like everything, it's dipping down. But once it starts popping off again, once Bitcoin and everything starts popping off, I think that it'll go back up. I should have sold some of it at 100 sats because I minted, right? I should have just taken some of that profit, waited for it to go down. But again, I waited because I was like, well, it could go higher, you know. But like the fun memes, like the memes with where we know like who dropped them, like Block, like yeah, I'm gonna buy that, right? Like if one of you guys were to drop a token, I may buy that. I'm not gonna say I will, because one of you guys can drop a token.
You better. It's going to $1 billion.
Yeah, but like I think that it's gonna do well just because it's a fun meme and people know what it is.
Yeah. Well, taking a look at the holder count, there's 16,659 holders. I think that's a pretty healthy holder count for not being an airdrop or not being a crazy supply that would take forever to mint. So I think that's a pretty healthy holder count. 16,659. I know the all-time high of holder counts was right at 17,000. But I think that as long as it can stay and not drop off to go below 10,000 in the next week or something, that would be very scary. Then I think that it has that shot to really spike up. If Pizza Swap, if Unisat can get Pizza Swap going and stuff like that, I know that that is a big concern, and it seems like people are trying to make efforts to make that happen. We'll see. What about you, Shizzy? What do you think about Glizzy?
I'm still very big on it. I think the only reason why it's just dropped is because I want to say about 60 to 70% of the buyers are probably from the East, and we all know what's been happening in the East over the last week. The Chinese government has just completely inflated the assets over there, so everyone's getting insanely rich. So a lot of people, and we've talked to 2 people that we know that have confirmed this, that the Chinese are selling the crypto assets and purchasing stocks and purchasing Chinese institutional grade assets. So that's why I think a lot of money is leaving things like BRC20s right now, because it's not just Glizzy that's down. It's, you can see Ordi dropping, Sats is dropping. It's a lot of these tokens that we know the Chinese are big on. Right, it's a lot of them, and that's why runes really aren't dropping, because the Chinese, we know for a fact the Chinese aren't playing in runes, but BRC20s and stuff they are. So I think a lot of the Chinese communities are just kind of selling off their assets to buy stocks and stuff. But once they get hit over there, because we're being told that a lot of them are kind of losing. Well, I was talking to somebody this morning that said a lot of them are going to lose money because they're kind of chasing the back end of this run. And what's going to happen is they're going to eventually give up on that and come back. And I think that's when we get our big run. Glizzy's a $1.5 million market cap. It's a baby. It's an absolute baby, but it's hard to buy.
They all are.
Well, yeah, 100%. But you have to bridge over here. You have to figure out a way to get FB, and then you have to get over here, right? Change your wallet. It's not hard for us, but someone new who hasn't played over here yet, they're not gonna play yet. They're gonna buy the runes because they're making money. But eventually, the runes kind of probably hit a little bit of a wall where people start taking profit, and it's probably going to be very short time. But you see a lot of that money as well kind of move over to Fractal, especially when we get the OpCat and stuff. And obviously, we all know we need Bitcoin to run for anything to do well, right? Maybe not like right now the runes are, they're still kind of hanging on, but the runes, I mean, they stalled a little bit as well. So I just feel like we need Bitcoin to go up, the Chinese stock market to kind of settle back down, and then we can kind of keep moving on. And I think Glizzy gets to, probably like $30-40 million market cap by the end of this year.
That would be, I think, pretty cool if it does. But is it the largest market cap over there right now?
Yes.
Don't count the Cat 20 tokens.
Well, that was my thought process in my head.
Yeah.
I was like, no, but then I was like, he's probably not thinking Cat 20. So yeah, so the Cat is by far, I mean, it's at like a $33 million market cap, and Glizzy's at a 1.5. But yeah, I maybe Mooncats, but it's not even all the way minted out. Like when Mooncats mints out, it could possibly, but right now, if you do the math, it's probably like maybe a little past it. But like I said, it's not all fully minted out, so there's a lot of still has to come in into the markets.
Yeah, one other promising, I guess, stat here is that Glizzy is the most added liquidity pool. I think.
Yeah.
To the swap, if you look through it, it has the most liquidity from Glizzy. But we saw that in the previous swap on Bitcoin Layer 1 with Honk, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at the ones that are the most important, Glizzy and Sats, that's the largest pool. And then you have Glizzy Ordi, which is Glizzy Ordi is not that big. But anyways, so I think those are two things that I think the holders can kind of look at. All right, so now let's talk about Cat a little bit. We'll start again with you, Matty. Cat is a Cat 20 token. Some people look at it as a meme. Some people look at it as a utility. How do you look at it, and what do you think about the future of it?
I think that because it's natively supported on Bitcoin chains, I think it's going to be big. I like that when you mint it, you don't lose your fees right away, so it gets rid of that front running fee loss. You can still get front run, obviously, but you don't lose those fees because they don't come out of your wallet. That's huge for anybody coming into the ecosystem. Nobody wants to get front run and lose $1,000. It sucks. It's happened to me. It sucks. I think that the Cat 721 is going to be a big disruptor in the ordinal space. Being able to do NFTs in the same way. Sorry, not NFTs, digital artifacts in the same way. And natively swap them between chains. I think that it's going to be big. I think that that's the biggest thing is you don't lose your fees, and it's you can use it. You can just transfer between Bitcoin chains that have OpCat and SegWit enabled. I think that's just the next. It's to me, it just makes sense, right? Like that's all I got. Like it just makes sense that it's going to be big.
Yeah,
I think that like out of everything Fractal, I think that's the biggest innovation so far, and it happened within the first week.
Yeah. So if you let's say we're April 2025, what would you put the market cap of Cat at?
God damn. Guess that
I mean,
depends.
there's no right answer, no wrong answer. Just curious, what if you had to estimate?
Are we talking about Cat the token? Just
Cat
the one.
token.
God, what's it at right now?
30 million.
31 million.
I think as the first token, it easily reaches billions of market cap by then, especially with a bull run.
Low billions is kind of where your mindset is at.
Yeah, I'd say like 30 to 50.
Okay.
So maybe I'm being conservative.
Oh, 30 to 50 billion?
100x. Yeah.
30 to 50 billion? Woo! Jesus.
Well, it's innovative, first of all, and it's the first token.
Wait, that's
right?
1,000x. That's 1,000x. 30 billion is 1,000x.
Okay, well, maybe I jumped the gun. Easily 100x, maybe not 1,000.
100x would be 3.1 billion.
Yeah,
which is very fair. That's what.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say 30 billion is wild.
That's 1,000x.
I think that's one token that'll 100x easily. I think it will. I don't have that much either. I only have 620.
I'm holding all my Cat if it gets to 30 billion by April because I'm rich, bitch. Now, Shizzy.
Bad math, all right?
Yeah. Shizzy, real quick. So utility or meme, first of all, and then where do you see the future of it?
Yeah, 100%. So this is a tweet from this is so Halfbanger, who we know, we met him a
Oh
couple
yeah.
times. He's working with Bunzi on a project. So he actually was inside this Discord, and this is a screenshot. I don't know which Discord this came from, but this is somebody from the S script team. This is XHILU. He's pretty big on the S script team. So Halfbanger asked some random question. Do you know? And he said, got it. This is just the first token might not have utility, and he goes, yes. It's just like the first. It has it's just the first, and it has utility, not only a meme. All right, so take
Okay.
this with a grain of salt. This is from someone's Discord, but this is someone from the S script team. I think we all know that the S script team are the people who put out the Cat 20 standard and Cat 721 standard. There's not official, but we pretty much know. I've heard from some inside people that it is the S script team. So that's saying what utility could this token have? I mean, immediately first thing that comes to your head is the governance, right? It could have some governance that controls the aspect of the Cat 20s and stuff like that. It could have fun, because you got to remember these are programmable, right? So they can actually program Cat to do many things. What those things are, I have no idea, and I'm only my imagination can kind of go wild here, but I don't want to do that because it's all speculation. So if the S script team is behind it, this is the first token, but it's not only a meme, but it's also utility, then this thing could go. I think Matty is pretty much on. I mean, I was going to say 3.1 billion before he said his. So yeah, I think 3.1 billion in about 12 months is very fair, with maybe 11 billion. So I would say about maybe a 300x at being my top.
Was it you that said that you thought it was going to be their governance token from the beginning? It was you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and that was really, a lot of it was speculation, but a lot of it too was is just kind of paying attention to S script and the way he was writing stuff.
Yeah.
So $3 billion let's say $3 billion market cap, right?
Yeah.
So that's gonna put that token at right at 125 bucks. No, like 145.
Yeah, just 100 times whatever price is now. I think it's $1.41 now. So just times 100.
So 143 is about $143 would be the price at $3 billion market cap, which I think that would be pretty good for a lot of people.
Well, that doesn't even sound that crazy.
Yeah,
it doesn't. I think it can go way higher.
But I think, that's if Bitcoin is running in an alts run, because you have to remember, the further away from Bitcoin, the more of closer alts it is, right? I think all the layer 1 assets on Bitcoin's blockchain will benefit pretty quick. We've seen that if Bitcoin gets 150,000, all of our ordinals and runes and stuff are going to skyrocket, in my opinion. And then once Bitcoin slows down and runs, gets a little exhausted, that's when alts will come in. And I think that Fractal and then maybe Merlin will be considered a little like a hybrid alt. But anyways, what do you think?
What did Ordi get again as an all-time high?
I want to say $96.
Yeah. So that puts it at 2 billion.
Yeah, so not that crazy. Same supply. Way more innovative. Yeah.
And especially if it gets put on Bells, right? Because Bells is going to be one of the next ones to really have OpCat. So if it gets put, if you're able to see it go back and forth from Bells to Fractal, that's just going to give you the indication that when Bitcoin puts OpCat on, this is going to be the standard that we're all going to kind of flock to.
Yeah, but I mean, and also Fractal's the testnet now for OpCat tokens, right? People see a lot of success in the OpCat and in cat tokens. Maybe they're going to be well, we need SegWit now, and we need OpCat on our chain, so we can do this, and we can have part of that ecosystem without leaving, and it might push innovation to other chains. But again, Bitcoin is going to be probably the hardest one.
Yeah, actually, says cat token to govern what?
Cats.
So
herd cats.
Yeah, all the cats in the world, they're going to tell them how to act. No, it's probably going to be something like this token's going to be programmable. So you're going to have script language going to be running through it, and you're going to be able to do a lot of different things with it. I think we're kind of seeing a very basic way of looking at the standard. Where I think there's going to be a lot of stuff coming. And on top of that, you have to remember they're right now they're creating Cat 721 and they're kind of putting it all together. So in the future, Cat could actually govern the way that Cat 721 is standardized, or the next thing that's standardized. I don't think it stops at Cat 721. I think there's a whole bunch of Ethereum different values of stuff, and you're probably going to see that maybe Cat 420. You know what I mean? You just don't know. And maybe as a Cat holder, you get to be the person to say yes or no to a lot of these things being brought in by the S-Script team.
Yeah. Aximate says Cat will moon more without explicit use case, in his opinion, meaning that
I disagree.
Probably moon more as like a meme token, being the first that was
See,
minted with the Cat 20 protocol. I don't know. Aximade's pretty close to like I know Aximade. You at heart, you're originally a BSVer. I have a like instinctual feeling. Tell me if I'm right or wrong on that.
Ernesto Gonzalez.
Hey, thank you, Ernesto. You are the man always.
Yeah, man. All right, so where were we before?
We were just talking about like Cat, like the possible market caps to it and stuff like that. But yeah,
what do you think, Matty?
I think I already talked about it. Has Yagobi talked about it?
I haven't. I was asking the question.
Go ahead. Yeah, you are. That's why I was confused. I knew one of us didn't answer. Go ahead.
What do you think?
Yeah. So, if it is as innovative as people are saying, then I think $3 billion market cap is easy. Actually, in fact, I think it could go probably higher, maybe like the 5. If it is what people are saying, but you know. He said 3 billion is not realistic. I think you got to look back at like the last cycle. I know last cycle was extra pumped giga hard. Like, you know, there's a lot of liquidity that was in there and circulating from the stimulus and stuff. But I don't think 3 billion is really that much, especially whenever you're going to have Bitcoin trying to knock on the door of 2 trillion, right? $2 trillion market cap eventually. So anyways, I think you know that it's not unrealistic for it to get there if it does what people say it does. But I think that we're going to be probably more shocked with some of these runes on Bitcoin Layer 1 for the bull run and how high they get.
I wouldn't say shocked. I wouldn't say shocked at all. I think, you know, Doll gets to $1 billion. I think Cat gets to 100. I'm not Cat. $1 billion Cat gets to 100 million. I wouldn't be shocked at any of that. But like, I just don't think, you know, once we actually get real innovation and real DeFi, I think a lot of that money flows into that, whether that's Cat 20 or the next thing.
I think that the runes memes are going to run harder than anybody expected, including myself, because like whenever they first came out, I was the one that was kind of like, hold your horses, like, you know, but yeah. So
the only problem
we'll
is
see.
Chinese aren't playing. The Chinese aren't playing runes. And I think that's a big issue right now. I just feel like the West money is going to run out very quickly, especially when we get to numbers like $1 billion and 100 million. I think you need East liquidity to come in to kind of get past those milestones.
I think and
you also have to remember Cardano and stuff like that are going to run. You're going to see a lot of money is going to be flowing in Solana and stuff like that. Yeah, we're going to do well over here, but I think it's going to be a little different because the entire ecosystem is going to be running and there's going to be not enough liquidity to go around.
Yeah. So here's the deal is that like I think that like these runes market caps, once they get to a certain level of build up, that the Chinese whales are gonna FOMO into it no matter what. They're gonna be like, look, they're all about making money and making X's, right? So what they'll do is they'll start to, you know, find a source that knows the alpha of what's good and what's not, and then they'll start pouring into them. Now, that doesn't mean like Fractal, and I'm super bullish on the Bitcoin ecosystem as a whole. I think they're going to have their times of liquidity like passing and stuff like that. I think Merlin has its time again. I think that it's actual true first time of really having that. And then I think that Fractal will have that like big liquidity events. But I think that like there's a lot of people that have slept on runes the past 6 months, 6 to 12 months, including myself. I slept on them a bit in the beginning. But I've held all my runes intentionally because I know that there's going to be a giga pump, especially if Bitcoin is past 6 figures, and these assets are going to be, there's going to be liquidity to flow into them. And we've seen this time after time, that the Bitcoin ecosystem assets, layer ones, are the first ones that are positively affected by Bitcoin's price.
China's not buying your bags, bro. China's not coming for runes. I think we're gonna have stuff like Pump.fun. We're gonna have stuff on Telegram that we already kind of know about. We're gonna have stuff from different places that are gonna be extra casino. China's not gonna come in and buy rune bags. That's just my opinion. What do you think, Matty?
Yeah, I don't know. They haven't gone in yet. I don't see them going into it. Like I think that they're gonna play with Fractal, and I think they're gonna definitely play with Cat. But I'm not sure if they're gonna go into runes. And like I said, runes will pump. It will, regardless of what any of us think. We're not in control of the market. So.
No, I said, $1 billion for dog, 100 million for billion cat. I mean, we're talking, 4x for dog, 10x. But I just think the money eventually stops. I just think they don't have enough liquidity over in the West to kind of keep these things from going to 2 billion, 3 million. Like it's not Solana. You know what I mean? That maybe it will get there, but I just don't see Solana guys coming in and waiting these 10-minute blocks.
Well, where's the liquidity coming from? Like right now, we're just circle trading, right? Like
PvP.
Yeah, people aren't coming into the ecosystem to use it as money. They're not going to come into the ecosystem and start buying runes, right? They're not going to. They might probably not even going to come into the ecosystem and buy Cat 20 if they're normies, right? Like that's not what they're coming for. So where's the liquidity coming from?
So the liquidity will come once the entire global crypto bull run event occurs, and once it ignites, right? Like, and it really depends on what kind of bull run we get. People are saying super cycle because it's taken so long, but I think we'd be really, we got to really gauge our expectations and maybe curb them a little bit, comparing to 2020 and 2021, because that was a unique event. Right, that was a unique event. Yes, the ETF is here, that will pump money into it, but I mean, I just look, my family does tangible collectibles, and 2021 was the most insane profitable profit margins in terms of like the values of these cards that they've ever seen. And so, like, when I talk to my brother today, I'm like, do you ever think they'll get back to 2021? He goes, of course they will, but it's going to take time. It's going to take like maybe like between 5 and 10 years for them to get back to those 2021 prices. And I know crypto is new, so it's different. There could be a new thrust, but I think we got to really curb our expectations to something in between 2017 and 2021. And I think that's a good realistic expectation, because 2017 was great too, but it was great for about 4 months. Right. And then 2021 was like crazy good, and then really crazy bad.
I'm not
100%. Go ahead, Matty. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm not basing that 3 billion market cap for Cat off of 2021. I'm basing it off of what a token did. That was the first token on a protocol where there wasn't even a lot of people. BRC20 is when it started, and it wasn't a bull run. So that's why I went there, right? Did nothing to do with the previous bull run.
No, and I wasn't talking about your estimate, because I'm on board with that. I'm just talking about, like, if we're expecting a 2021 repeat at all, like, you have to remember how many chains experienced extreme amounts of liquidity, like just being huge. Right, you're talking about like the Phantoms, the AVAX, the even freaking Crypto.com's chain, like, and you're talking about $1 billion market caps on like multiple different tokens. And I think that expectation could be dangerous. But like, I do expect something big. I just don't know how big. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope Shizzy's right. Bitcoin gets to $750,000. If that happens, okay, $700,000. If that happens, fucking game on. Like, everything's gonna, like, and it also depends on November 5th too, because if it goes one way, then I'll completely say, okay, let's release the floodgates. It's on.
If November 5th goes the wrong way, my 700K comes down to 110, maybe 103. That's the difference between regulation and not regulation. I mean, that's the difference is massive, and I don't think people understand that. And it sucks to say that, like, even my wife's tired of me fucking talking about it, because it's like our entire lives depend on one day out of this year. You know what I mean? So it's just like it really matters. But to like Yagobi's point there, like, yeah, you're right. Like, yeah, the Michael Jordan card isn't going to hit its 2020 high, but something like a I don't know, one of the rookies could do 100x. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
and
true.
I'm thinking on the lines of that. I'm thinking of, yeah, maybe
But
Cardano
it
doesn't
won't
get back
be.
to all time high, but maybe there's something new that does 1,000x like Cardano did.
Yeah. But it won't hit like the rookies were hitting in 2021, though. You know what I'm saying? Because in 2021, those rookies were like hitting hard. But you're right. That is one thing that you're absolutely. But it's just like that's one correlation to crypto that I think that
Yeah.
the trading cards is perfect.
Yeah.
Because like something new, you have that you're putting that risk in for the 100,000x, right? Whatever it is. Same thing with cards, like a Wemby card. You know, you didn't know if he was going to get injured and he was going to suck for the rest of the season, so you're taking
Greg
that
Oden.
risk.
Yeah.
Exactly. So same situation, but great point. I think that's a great correlation.
But yeah, so I'm chasing that Wemby. You know what I mean? Yeah, he might get hurt this year and be the next Greg Oden, but he could be the next Giannis the same way. You know what I mean? So for me, that's what we're doing here. We're speculating on highly speculative things like this Bitcoin ecosystem. Yes, it could be, it is probably going to be like a first overall pick, coming into the NBA. But once it gets in the NBA, will it get smacked down and regulation has come flying all over it, or whatever, or maybe people don't think it's going to be what we think it's going to be. And obviously, our money only moves so far. We're gonna need like Venezuela to come in and make Bitcoin a legal tender. We're gonna need Saudi Arabia to come in and make Bitcoin legal tender. We're gonna need Dubai to make it legal tender for Bitcoin to kind of get to where I think it's going to go. We need nation states to buy, and what that's going to do is that's going to make the Bitcoiners feel very rich. And what Bitcoiners do when they become very rich, they buy Bitcoin native assets, right? Once those assets hit a certain limit, they're not going to look at that. They're going to look at they're going to go further and further away from the risk curve. And where I see that being, and I see being, something getting regulation, and that's DeFi. If DeFi gets regulated, if Aave and Curve and these bigger ones get regulated, that's going to put more speculation on something like Cat 20.
Yeah. Those great points. But like, I love what you just said. That like, these Bitcoiners, what are they going to do once Bitcoin hits like the certain thing? They're going to buy Bitcoin native assets. And we never had that experience before. Maybe Counterparty or something like that, but that wasn't, really hot back then. So,
yeah. Matty.
Yagobi
said, "I'm done." He's like, I quietly agree with Shizzy. I'm done. I'm done.
I mean,
crazy.
I've said it already. I mean, I agree with you. We need more outside money coming in. We need regulation, unfortunately, to get us going. Although we don't want regulation, it's needed because it clarifies, right? We need to be clarified. We still live in a nice green screen.
Regulation is okay if the people writing it are DeFi or decentralized mindset. If Larry Fink and JP Morgan and Gary Gensler write a regulation, we're fucked. We're done. Yeah. But if and Mark Cuban, same thing. But if we get Brian Armstrong, if we get guys like RFK, and if we get guys like the third largest holder of Avalanche, JD Vance, to write the regulation, I think we'll be okay.
Well, and this comes down to what you said about November 5th, and that I'm not American, but that election is going to, not to get into politics, but that election is going to affect everybody, not just the United States. So there's a war against free speech right now. There's a war against crypto that's been going for years, and we need a win. We need somebody that's at least pro crypto and pro free speech. Like this it's a turning point, in my opinion, right? So that's just going to affect everything. And if you don't think it's going to affect you and it's just the United States, I think you're wrong. I think it's a worldwide thing that's happening right now.
Yep.
And that's why I think we go sideways until that point. I just think that people, once, I think that's the green light or red light, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, we saw what happened without getting too deep into like global politics or anything,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
you saw what happened with like, France and kind of how that election was going to where like the Conservative Party was in like a really confident lead. And then all of a sudden it switched up at the last second. All the other parties ganged together so they didn't win. And so it's like, the global elites seem to be like, their plan is the next thing is like the biggest country that affects everything, and that's now. So without getting into it deep, because like we don't want to because of YouTube and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna
But
get canceled.
yeah, and so I do want to give a shout out to Christ_edits. I think this is one of my friends here. Christopher is his name. So what's
Wag
up,
Jake,
Chris?
wag Jake. Why is he trying to
Well,
wag you, bro?
I don't know. But go follow Christ_edits. I think they do some really cool I think like maybe like a podcast. Maybe I'm not sure exactly what they do, but really good people. Anyways.
Yeah, man.
What real quick though, we didn't talk about any Bitcoin memes like on layer 1, so I wanted to hit real quick. What if you have to pick one Bitcoin meme to have the most X's from where we are right now? You can't pick. You can't say, "Oh, there's going to be one that isn't out yet." Just try to pick for one that's out right now. What Bitcoin meme would you pick, fungible token wise? Let's start with you, Matty.
Are we talking Bitcoin or fractal?
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, but it can be tap, it can be anything. Runes.
Yeah. Layer 1 asset.
No idea. I need some time. Go ahead, Shizzy.
I got 2. I got Mr. Yen for the runes.
Ooh.
And I have Gib for the tap.
Interesting. Even if there's transfer inscription, because I know that you have nightmares of transfer inscriptions.
No, I mean I do. I hate them, and I really hope that Benny figures out something. Maybe the wallet that they're creating doesn't even feel like it. Like that would be the difference, right? Like if I go to use it and I don't need to make a transfer inscription, I don't give a shit if I got to pay 2 transaction fees as long as they're not like insane. If I got to pay $7 for one and 14 for 2, then it becomes a bigger deal. But at the prices that we're at now and stuff starts happening, I think Mr. Yen is number 1, and then if I had to have a number 2, it would be Gib because something Gib. Right. I'm down to speculate on what that means.
Yeah, that's been like an inside thing for a very, very long time. Mr. Yen sitting right at $1.42 million market cap, sitting at 0.067 cents.
Yeah.
And so, as Elias Lululu says, he does definitely 1000% love his son. He says it every single day, and he's damn good at business, right? And we know that for a fact. But this token got to 38 cents at its all-time high, from what I remember, and it's sitting at 6, almost 7 cents. Every single time that Bitcoin runs, this token runs, and every time it pulls back pretty hard because it is a higher risk meme asset. Now, so what makes me agree with you is because we've seen it do it twice. I think it does it again, and it runs up strong. It has a creative name and lore to it, so I'm on board.
Yeah,
with
I think it gets to $1. I think it gets to $1, $2, $3 before we get a pullback.
Yep. All right. Did you decide what you want, Maddie?
No, I haven't paid attention to memes or anything enough to make a decision here. So you guys are on your own. I don't want to speak out of my ass. I mean, I assume it's going to be some sort of a utility token. Would do better, but
speaking of
utility guy.
Yeah, speaking of utility token, Mike's World says, just FYI, Agora, which for the audience that doesn't know what Agora is, it's a Lathius Agora, which is a predictions market, is planning something big for 250 markets to open up, I heard in Telegram. So that could be one because their market cap is crazy low, 395,000, but they've also like fluctuated between like 300,000 to like a little over $1 million, I think only, right? Shizzy?
Yeah, around there. I think it got to 700K, maybe 900K. I don't even know. It might have got. Yeah, actually, it did get over $1 million because it got over $1 million. I got to $11.
Because it got the $11, yeah.
Would have made it 111 million, $1.11 million.
Yeah. So,
what problem with Agora is I seen something recently that
competition
just scared the fuck out of me with Agora. It's not a competition. It's a murder weapon. Like in that sense for Agora.
Without getting in too deep, I've said this on our daily lives that Agora definitely needs to get it like they need to get going with either like some sort of smart contract capability, because you can't continually manually run your markets the way that they are. And I give John and his team props, man. I mean, they're working hard, really young. They're really smart. He's worked with the BAMP Nakamoto team to help build like the interface for, I think, the swap. So I think the opportunity is still there, but they have, in my opinion, like a short window to either jump on Merlin chain, just get the smart contracts going, or like, hopefully S-script with Fractal. It seems to be that's what their plan is right now. So, but really quick, going back to the meme coin, the one that I think is going to succeed the most is X's wise. There's a new one called Based Internet Panda. I actually don't even hold this. There's a lot of momentum that's growing with this, and I'll throw some bets on that. I'm gonna. It's at the $7.82 million market cap.
Okay.
Yeah, but
100 would be 700 million.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just trying to not pick Mr. Yen because that would probably be my most X's pick. That, or actually, I don't want to say the name of this one because people are gonna be like, oh. Because I think Wanko Manko is at like $3 million. I said it.
Dog with vagina, bro.
I said okay.
Matty, what do you think about dogs with vagina?
Hey,
we're at the end. It's okay. No one made it this far. We're good.
I'll leave that one alone. I'll just leave that alone.
I feel bad. Yagobi's friends in here, and they don't see. They're probably not down with that.
Yeah. Well, I think they're just a little younger, so no worries though.
My bad. I didn't realize that they're that younger. All right, well, my bad. I gotta. Yeah.
he feels bad now because he has kids. He's like, oh my God, why'd you say that? Why'd you say it? No, you're good, man. 293 people for like a random spur of the moment type of live. That's a good outing for sure. Matty, they're probably all here to see you because they told me to shut up earlier.
Yeah. I think they told you to kick us off and have your own show, actually.
Yeah, that's actually what I heard. You're gonna have Yagobi in the morning, every morning from now on.
Nah,
Yagobi is back, baby.
Well, am I gonna talk? I gotta just talk to myself. Nah,
they don't like controversial opinions. They just want to hear what they want to hear.
Exactly. Ooh. I give them that. I give them exactly. I give them exactly what they want. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I give them exactly what they need to hear. You give them exactly what they want to hear.
That's not true. I go against the grain sometimes.
You do. No, you do. No, you do a lot. You don't. No, I 100% agree. I think, but it feels like we're always just taking different sides to a lot of stuff. But that opens up a lot of it opens up the thought process. I think that's really healthy. I think, sometimes you don't want to hear something, but maybe a few weeks later you're like, all right, I should have been more open to that, that idea. So
my mind changes all the time. Right, like people are.
I mean, I was big on runes 2 months ago, and now I'm on to the next thing.
I was never. That hasn't changed. People still think that I'm just bandwagon jumping or something. I don't know. Anyway, I speak my opinion, and my opinion can change based on information, and I'm always open to change. But there's been no reason to change on that one for me.
Yep. Mike's World says, he first said they need a front end, but they said Fractal will fix it. Yeah, I had some conversations with John and his team, and that's what their next move is, Fractal. So,
that would be the back end. Front end is just UI. Fractal has nothing to do with UI, so he means back end.
Yeah. Well, the front end wouldn't even matter at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not the problem. The problem is like being able to freely feel like you can bet as much as you want on any market and just let it play out naturally, like automated, right? Like a smart contract would do. And I think that will probably happen. But he also says, is Uniworlds coming? We've been getting this question a ton. It says, is Uniworld still coming? I may have missed the response. I'm at work. So, I mean, I don't know what's happening with Uniworlds, but man, it seems like a lot of people are starting to get worried about Uniworlds.
Well, Block's the Canadian ambassador, the official Canadian ambassador. So let's reach out to him and have him on the show. I think he would probably give us, without us completely guessing. And Matty, I'm not sure if you've looked into this at all, but I know nothing.
No, not really. I mean, I have one key. I inscribed my name .uniworlds, and that was pretty much it. I don't know. I was just waiting. I mean, I trust that something's coming.
Yeah. Speaking of metaverses, though, real quick, what's going on with this DMT bitmap drama, man? Like, I thought that was all pushed aside. Like, we're not in it. We're not.
I know.
My guy Shizzy is not in the DMT or bitmap drama so it's directly bitmap and DMT communities. Like, do you know anything about that, Matty?
I think Matty knows. Come on, Matty, spell it.
Oh God, it's just so much. It's the same. From what I can tell, it's the same stuff. There's a certain amount of bitmap maxis that just think that everything should be serving bitmap, and then they think that NAT and DMT is taking away from that, and that it's was created to to extract liquidity, and not to supplement bitmaps. And then there's another camp who realize that it's another way of visualizing data, and I've just discussed this so much, man. Like, bitmap was created from Bitcoin data, but some people have kind of lost the view of what it was when it came out, and now they think they own every single bit of data in a block. When, if you guys remember, when we were minting a visual representation based on bitfeed.live, because it looked like land. And now it's gotten to a point where there's a lot of animosity between bitmap and DMT, because they think that DMT is stealing data from them, or something like that. I've kind of pushed out of there. I've kind of pulled back. I mean, I've still got my bitmaps. I'm still bullish on bitmap. I just there's so much goddamn drama that I can't. Like,
like bitmap community, like the ones that are like, getting into these kind of quarrels. I've never seen like a community so like internet sleuth type of approach as they are right now. I mean, like, they put Jeff from Merlin Chain through like a huge like investigation like 3 weeks ago or a month ago, right? And now they're doing it to like the DMT guys. And like, here's the thing, like, bitmap's price jumped back up when Bitcoin jumped up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's just let bitmap's price jump back up when Bitcoin jumps up, because it's inherently like tied to it.
Yeah, and bitmap's price has been stagnant and dropping because there hasn't been a lot of things released that are exciting people. There's stuff being built, like Foxy's building, mscribe is building. I don't give a shit what you think. mscribe is building. It's all supplementing Bitcoin. God damn it, bitmap. It's never stopped.
mscribe helping bitmaps though?
I think that the block runners and DMT are helping bitmap.
Okay.
I haven't spent a lot of time on mscribe. I think that DMT supplements bitmap. I think that there's a lot there that is also just DMT, but I don't think that it's a liquidity extraction. I don't think it's a way to replace bitmap. I just don't see it, because I understand what we were minting when we minted bitmap, right? And has that changed somehow? I don't know, but I think that they complement each other. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Like, people latch onto that goddamn NAT thing, and they forget that there was another token released that only bitmap holders, they released them both, right? Yeah. Like, I've been in it.
They released them both. Man. They released them both, but they did really push one more than the other.
They did. They pushed the one that was more popular. It was by people.
They pushed the one that they're making money on. They make money on every time.
At the end of the day,
mscribe, but like, you don't have to use mscribe. You didn't have to use mscribe to mint NAT. It's just text inscription, just like anything.
Yeah.
I don't think they pushed NAT though as much as they pushed like NatCats and Royals.
Yeah, but NatCats is actually fucking cool, right?
Nat Cats is
the way that it's
Nat
built,
Cats is cool,
it
and with
has
the Natrix, that thing is badass. Like the graphics of Nat Cats, that's really awesome.
Who is making Natrix? Can you? I have no idea. I'm so lost on that entire. It feel like it came out of nowhere.
It's a MattyVerse that I think the Block Runner guys are doing, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and I saw a post earlier today about how the parcel is being parceled out or something. I haven't been following it. I tried to go in there and mint. I was on my phone. It was, I didn't end up minting one, but like somebody was saying that there's a child inscription and then they're just parceling out the child inscription somehow. I haven't gotten into it, so I can't really speak to it, but it might be worth something to look at. But
do you know if the parceling with Bitmap community is still legit or no?
No idea. I mean, from what where I'm at, you can either inscribe the text, right? 123.45678.bitmap, or you can do a child inscription.
Okay, so then
I
mine
don't
should
know
be
if that's
good.
changed. Yeah, well,
Oh.
I don't know if it's changed. Like, it could have changed. Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
Right? I didn't really like the only parcels that I inscribed was when I was making tutorial videos on how to inscribe.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's so funny because like I saw like Iman getting like going back and forth with
I did too.
like and I sat there and I was like, I just kind of shook my head like this and I was like, he knows how we felt like not long ago. You know what I mean? Because like they were coming after you. Like for me, no one really comes after me because like I'm really good at like avoiding like shit like that. But
Jack Lou came at you, bro.
Hey, but I handled it, like, you know what I'm saying?
You did, yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't, like, curl up and be like, oh, interview
no, you
over.
did. You handled it well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, I have no problem facing the attacks and facing the FUD. I try and explain it the way that I understand it, and not everyone's going to understand what I'm saying. I'm not the best communicator, but I try my best to get the point across. Like I've been fighting this DMT FUD for like I gave up on it a few months ago, right? Like, but like since November when they dropped Nat, I was like, I'm just trying to explain to people what it is, and people get their opinions, just like me, just like you guys. They get their opinions, they stick in it, and they don't want to see something else, right? And the truth eventually comes out. The truth will eventually come out. It'll be evident in the future who was right and who was wrong. But that's not for me to sway you, and I don't know. It's not worth the time. It's not worth the time every single day, right? I have better things to do than argue, and it's distracting.
I enjoy arguing. That's why I do it 5 days a week with Yagobi.
I
know. when we get into like heated arguments, like also our numbers jump up by like 1,000%.
Oh,
it's
people
like
love it.
It's like an organic argument. Like it wasn't anything we planned or anything. We ended our Friday show that way. Like we went from like
screaming at each other,
600 live viewers to 800 live viewers, and we were like, I was like, you need to calm down. He was like, get the F out of here, because someone commented something pretty stupid. It was a pretty dumb comment.
It was about the Project 2025 bullshit.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Shizzy will post something that I know is polarizing, and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna comment on this. So I'll comment something against them, and I'll go into DMs and be like, hey man, I love you.
Yeah. I love it, dude. I love when someone comes back on my post. That's one thing. People like they'll get on my post and they'll just be like, "Oh, you're a dickhead." I'm just like, "Thank you. You just I won." Like, you know what I mean? Like I won. Like when BitGod posts like all my comments, and then I'm just like, I won because now I got the attention of all 88,000 of your followers, right? So, and then I check my follower count, I'm up by like 20 or 30 just for that one post.
Well, don't give everybody your secret sauce.
Hey, I'm just saying, I purposely post stuff to piss you off, and you guys fall for it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and the other day I want to see if my reach was getting bigger, because a couple months ago, if I would have posted at Udi, I would have got no response. I posted it, and 6 minutes later, he was in the DMs, right? I mean, not in the comments. So it was like,
I saw that post.
I just won. Thank you for letting me know that Shizzy's getting big.
Damn, that sounded like a flex just now. I don't know. Like, you know what I do lately, guys? I just meme all damn day. hey, I'm like a master memer now. No, I'm kidding.
Dude, we're making a shirt, the master memer. All right, guys, we're about at that 2-hour mark. I was not expecting to go this long. Yagobi, thank you for joining us, man. Wasn't even expecting you to pop on, but that was absolutely amazing. And then Matty, man, I can't thank you enough, bro. It's always great to catch up with you, and it's awesome that we can do this on camera, right? We get to have a 2-hour conversation just about anything that I want, and it's phenomenal. I appreciate you dealing with my bullshit.
No, I mean, I've been coming on this show for like since July of last year now. I mean, like I like the fact there was a point there. I was telling my wife, I was like, there's a point there where people thought I was the third host. And I was like I was on here a lot. I enjoy it. The video, I like video better than space. Spaces are hard.
Yeah, I hate
Can't
spaces.
really see
Hate 'em.
people. You can't know when to talk. So I enjoy going on to video, and I enjoy talking to you guys. We have our own little chat that I talk to you guys all the time. Like, it's great. So I appreciate you reaching out, and I know my time is limited, so the flexibility when you messaged me last night, you're like, let's go, and I was like, I can go at 11:30 your time, otherwise it's tomorrow. And
I was like, that's a little too late for the audience. We've got no views.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Well,
I appreciate it.
I don't even know if the audience knows that, like, how far we kind of go back. When I first started, I was like bothering you, commenting on you. You weren't even following me. I was just like, how do I mint these BRC20s? And you responded to me. So you stuck in my mind for once we started the podcast. I was like, this guy knows what he's talking about. Let's get him on the show. And that's when we approached you for that first episode. And then after that, we were all three. We did the Blood Brothers thing. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Now we all have AIDS, and I don't know where it came from. It's all right.
Yeah.
AIDS is curable. You only need money.
Yeah, money. Yeah, South Park. My God. No, I mean, like, and that was the whole thing, right? Like, that's my whole thing. And a lot of people, it's been so long now. May of last year, I got into ordinals, and it's been so long that I think a lot of the history, people that are newer to the space, they don't realize, and they start coming into my replies, and they start shitting on me about being one way, and I'm like, no, man, like, look back. This is just, I'm in everything. So I'm just here to help people. Sometimes my emotions get the best of me, and I start replying to haters, and it starts fucking cascading, and I got to control that a little more. But everything I say it's either the truth or it's just my opinion. But I'll never hide anything. It's all public. And that's my biggest thing, transparency. So I don't know where I'm going with this.
I think we gotta answer this last question for the show. We'll close it because our guy Abdul United says, thoughts on rare sats. Let's start with you, Matty.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this when he posted it. Like, if you look at the bull run, and I'm going to compare this to 2021, how many things were there that you could do on a blockchain? NFTs, shitcoins. Basically, that was it on Ethereum. Now with ordinals, we have so many different metrics. We have rare sats, we have inscription numbers, we have cursed ordinals. They still exist. You can't make them anymore. All these things.
True.
And the rare sat thing, it's genius, right? Like, applying a rarity to a Satoshi it makes sense, right? Like, how many of these ones can we get? I think it's going to be big. It's a collector's thing. And I think that we're all just sitting around. We're waiting for this bull run. We're not sitting around. We're doing stuff, but waiting for this bull run. And all these things that have gotten forgotten because they're from the beginning are going to start popping back up because people are going to come into here. They're going to see, holy shit, rare sats is actually really cool. And they're going to have that aha moment we had back in the beginning when we're like, oh yeah, rare stats are really cool, but we're just so used to it, so it gets pushed back. We got the new shiny thing, but people that come in, that's going to be a new shiny thing, and they're going to be like, that's actually really cool, I want some of that. So I think that all those older narratives, people are going to jump in and they're going to pick and choose. But I think rare stats is just something that's not going to be replaced. Like, what are we going to replace it with? Like, sure, BRC20s, we can replace that with runes or cat 20 tokens, but there's nothing that's like rare sats.
100%.
Rare.
100%. I'm extremely bullish long term on all of those layers of value that Ordinal Theory presented, right? the early inscriptions, but the rare sats, it's just it brought something that, like you said, no other blockchain or ecosystem has brought, and that layer of value of just being able to pluck a single Satoshi out, assign a date, assign a day, assign a unique relevance to it is just amazing to me, and I'm super bullish, Abdul. I hope that you have tons of them. What about you, Shizzy?
I don't know.
He's always the dark horse. Go ahead.
I used to believe in them. You know, pizza sats, there's millions and millions and millions and millions, if not billions. Uncommons, there's new ones that come in every single day. We seen a collection that was fully uncommon and it just went to shit. So I'm gonna have to see a collection come out on a sat and it actually matter for my opinion to change. But right now, it's not something that I'll be investing in. You know, it's just I just don't see the value in it anymore as like I used to. I don't know. It's just one of those things where Casey kind of picked the names of these, and you know he refuses to add black uncommons to that. And you know if somebody else has an idea for some type of Satoshi, then he's not gonna make it into ordinals. And until he takes his hands off and lets other people create rare sats, I don't think it's gonna be a big deal.
Well, no, you can index black uncommons.
Magisat index them.
Magisat recognizes them,
but Magisat does. But like the Ord client doesn't.
Well, it doesn't really
matter.
Yeah,
I know it doesn't matter, but I mean, in the sense of of it, everything kind of being indexed together.
Well, it will be decentralized in the future. It'll be like a card manufacturing company that decides, like when they first decided a patch of a jersey matters or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I understand why you have that perception of like rare stats, because it was something that was hot that faded. But we got to remember the collectability behind ordinals, and I think that will come hard, especially what Matty said. Let's say a whale gets introduced from let's say they made like $20 million in Solana and wanted to dabble and started buying Bitcoin fungibles, and then they were over here and they found out about rare stats, and they're like, "Oh shit, let's pump this narrative." You know what I mean?
So the only way, in my opinion, rare sats do well is if somebody can make them fungible. Right now, they're kind of non-fungible, right? So
I think they 100% should be fungible.
Exactly. Well, once a pizza sats become a token that is backed by sats, that is when Shizzy gets in. But until that happens, I'm not interested in that at all. Honestly, anything that pumped last year, I'm not interested in anything that pumped last year.
I think that's I'm always flawed strategy, man.
I disagree.
If you only do that forever, then like you would have missed out on Shiba Inu whenever it launched in July of 2020.
But then I would have made insane money on Floki. I would have made way more money in Floki.
Well, you know not if you would, not if you would have held from July.
I'm just saying
April of that next year.
But you had to deal with that entire dip. There's stuff you could have bought. There's stuff you could have bought in that dip that was brand new that could have been done a lot better.
No way. Not if you bought Shiba Inu in July of 2020 and then you held it until April of 2021.
If you bought $1 Billion Cat in July, or if you bought rare stats, what are you up on more? You know what I mean? Like there's always that next thing that's way better.
But I'm telling you that like if you would have held. He's saying that because us arguing like the numbers are going up.
Gotcha. But that's my point, is like there's always something better. You know what I mean? And I'm chasing. I don't think that's
true. I think that for the most part, like you could say that like a large percentage of that is true, because like yes, but like there
are flying up. ERC20s aren't.
But there are
Ordy's not moving.
That's more of a standard
Dog's
problem.
Moving.
Like ERC20s, Shiba was an ERC20 whenever it launched.
Yeah.
And that wasn't going away. ERC20s was solidified in the smart contract.
But that's the thing. But the Doge was the one before that, right? If you would have got out of Doge and in the Shiba, you would have made so much money. If you would have got out of Shiba and into the next one, next one.
My point is that if you would have held from July of 2020 to April of 2021, you would have made like tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah, but if you would have took that same money and
you have to make the right decision every time along the way, though. You can make a wrong one and lose.
Then make it.
You can make a wrong one and no, that's higher risk. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, we're at the 2-hour mark. I win argument. We gotta go.
No, that's not true. I'm telling you, there's always a better play.
Yeah, but you're comparing these fungible tokens to something that's less fungible. Like you said it yourself, rare sats aren't as fungible. And the pizza sats, sure, there's millions of them, but there are much rarer sats that would be worth money. Like if there's 100 million fucking pizza sats, are you gonna buy that, or are you gonna buy the one where there's like 50, and you want to have that sat because you're looking for?
But the problem with the 50, there's no liquidity to get in and out. So in these markets, I want something with high volume. Pizza sats, with being that giant amount of tokens, I feel like the volume would be there, and that's the difference for me. I need to get in tokens with volume. I shy away from small collections.
Yagobi's emotional.
Emotional damage.
Yeah, I mean,
where's that from? My son says that shit. Where's that from?
It's TikTok.
Yeah.
Is it TikTok?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But like I'm talking about the discovery. Like there's going to be another discovery. People are going to show up and they're going to discover it. And I think that's
chasing innovation.
So and we're chasing innovation because we've been here, but the people that come in are starting from scratch. They don't know any of this shit. So they're going to discover it and they're going to be like, holy shit, this is really cool. And I think that's why it'll pump.
Yeah, I do.
We're pumping it.
Go ahead. I was going to say I agree with Shizzy in terms of making them fungible, because that would give two different utilities for them. And also each token is backed by an actual Satoshi. So then at that point, like you have a fundamental like monetary asset, like value of an individual unit behind each, plus the narrative will boost up the price. So this is something we've been talking about with other like builders, like let's make this happen. But supposedly it's really hard to hold like individual Satoshis in an MPC wallet, because like the only way to do it would be to bridge that over to like another chain, right? And then like if you have especially like uncommon sats, right? Like because those are a date specific by day, month, year. You're not going to get the same one back when you bridge out.
So there's one way: burn your pizza sat to get that token. So if you're someone saying, "Hey, if you burn this, you get these tokens," which that'll allow for people to just send them Satoshi's wallet, and then your whatever your protocol is just like, all right, you get these sats, and you're basically burning pizza sats. You're actually earning that token, which gives that token value, and it will always allow it to kind of be traded one for one, which would eventually make pizza sats go up in value as well.
I hope someone can do it, because I'll definitely.
I mean, we could do it honestly. Just got to create a burn mechanism.
I mean,
it's that easy.
I'm down to start that project.
But are they
you
really...
spin out a whole Cat 20 and then just, hey, every time you guys burn this, we're going to send this Cat 20 to that wallet. So if you burn 10,000 pizza sats, we're sending 10,000 this token.
So are you saying that like the first sat from block 10 and the first sat from block 100,000, they're non-fungible?
No, I'm saying that's like, so the way Jeff's doing bitmaps, right? You don't want to take a bitmap with 4 digits and use that one.
No, I get that.
Take the other ones, right? So you wouldn't use that one's kind of like, you would say like a legacy version. Like you don't want to sell like a 2011 or 2010. You wouldn't do that one, but the ones that are like from like, you know, the different ones, right? Because all the pizza sats are pretty much the same. There might be an uncommon, there might be a black sat, like they're all from the same exact time period, like within like a year and a half period. So like those ones are different, but like something like an uncommon, you wouldn't do that with that, you know?
Yeah, but that's like saying I mined a diamond in 1910, and I mined and I stamped it with a date, and then I mined a diamond in fucking 2010 and stamped that with a date, but now these aren't interchangeable, even though they're exactly the same. You know what I mean? Like I think there is a fungibility aspect between uncommon sats or I'm not going to come up with names, but I see what you're saying. How do we make it so that they're trading fungibly? That's
exactly.
I think it'd be more like like the quarters that we deal with today, like in the US, like there's quarters from like the 1876 or whatever specific year that someone's going to hold on to because it's worth more than a quarter. They're not going to put that into like this. They're not going to put it in circulation. You know what I mean, and stuff like that. So, but I think that's fair game. You should know what you have, and you know if you have something like that, then there's a separate marker, like a market, like a collector's market for those really rare ones. So
and stuff like uncommons, there's new ones every single day. I just don't. It's for me, it's just not valuable when
but the total supply though
more.
In a fungible token set,
but the market cap's like $60 million.
Yeah, right now.
You know what I mean? That's insane. Go ahead, Matty.
I got one more thing to say. Are you guys gonna watch that HBO special on the 8th?
I thought it was out
I
already.
it comes out the 8th. I started looking into Sassman, and
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was the missing link, because I used to always say it's Hal Finney, Nick Szabo, and Adam Back. Nick Szabo wrote the code. I mean, Nick Szabo wrote the white paper. Hal Finney did basically everything else. There was a fourth person there that I didn't even know who would have lunch with Hal Finney every afternoon, and they both lived in the same neighborhood with Dorian Nakamoto. So Hal Finney would, and they actually talked to Dorian Nakamoto in the one book, and they would ask him questions because they knew he was working on some top secret project. I think Dorian Nakamoto gave Hal Finney and Sassman the idea, and in a conversation, and they got to work on it. Sassman was I think he was Satoshi Nakamoto in a sense of the guy behind the email, but I think it was actually Nick Szabo, Adam Back, and Hal Finney that helped all four of them actually are Satoshi Nakamoto.
Yeah, I think he's probably the second best option of being Satoshi. The first one, in my opinion, would have been like Hal Finney, just because his legacy and everybody loves him so much. Like Sassman, there wasn't a lot of people.
Well, he killed himself due to depression. Yeah,
I know,
so
but my point is that but at least it's not someone that's still has access to the keys. Is my point.
Well, his wife might. She just realized she's finally tweeting. She realized that she needs to go through his shit.
That's the next thing is that brings up the wallet. Like, who did they get rid of the seed? Did they lock it up? Does somebody have it?
I have evidence that it's gone. No one can ever access it again. So don't worry. And Rolando's right. We're all Satoshi.
What if she finds it? What if she finally goes through his shit, finds this weird code, and that's the key, and she opens it?
No, don't get putting.
I'm just saying, it's fun to think about.
Well, people talked about
that's a nightmare.
People talked about locking out the Satoshis in Nakamoto's wallet, and as much as that would, get rid of that thing, I don't agree with that. Again, we're talking about decentralization again. How far do you want to go? You start locking.
That wouldn't happen. You better put your Bitcoin in. You better put your Bitcoin in the stables if that happens.
you would need 51% of the hash power to do that, and there's no way you can get these people. No. I mean, they're talking millions and millions of miners. Yeah. There's no way you can get people to agree on anything. I mean, us three in this room couldn't even agree on that, So
yeah, but don't get it twisted. If they found out that this person was alive today, believe me, there would be a plan of action very quickly.
I think it would be a bad 2 years, but then we would eventually kind of continue.
No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about plan of action, from the people that have a ton. There'd be a plan of action on getting access to that individual and that
100%.
But anyways,
you would see governments trying to So that's the show, guys. Before we go on another tangent again, Matty, thank you so much. Matty, take the stage, bros. Tell everyone where to come find you.
Yeah, so you can go check me out on X at the MattyVerse. If you want to hit up my Linktree, yes, I have switched to Linktree. It's Linktree whatever the hell it is /MattyVerse, and you'll find all my links there. Haven't been super active on YouTube. I've been super busy with everything during life, but if you reach out to me and it's not just you shitting on me, I will answer you. DMs, public, doesn't matter. I'm here to help. I'm online all day long.
Yeah, man. And get that YouTube going, bro. You're missing an opportunity.
I know. It's all time, buddy. It's all time.
I mean, look at me and Yagobi. We're just two dudes who had day jobs who did YouTube, and now look, they're sitting in my chair, my toilet chair, and I don't leave. So
hold on a second, I'll show you. This is my calendar.
Oh, all my
kids shit.
Yeah.
You got to get rid of those kids, bro.
Yeah, right. Take them to the woods and let them go.
No. Yeah, I'm lucky enough. My wife takes care of all that shit, so I don't got to worry about that stuff. But
I'll send her up here.
On her way. You're gonna miss She would love that, dude. She would love
it. Sorry. One other thing. Las Vegas. I'm planning on being there this year.
Yes, let's do it, man.
Nice.
We might.
We can get our discount, bro, from our website, ordinalrevolution.com.
We're trying to put an event together. We'll let the community know for sure if it's going to happen. It's not going to be anything super huge because we're still growing, guys. So, but we want to do something special, and definitely, you'd be a part of that and invited to that. So,
yeah, end of May. Even if you guys don't go as Ordinal Revolution, fucking be there.
We'll be there.
We're gonna go as Yagobi verse and Shizzy verse. Two separate shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. See you guys.
All right. Peace.
Later.
I gotta find the brand thing. I found it. All right, see it.
We OG. Oh no, G. You're not bullish enough. Yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to Olo. Yeah. Experts on reload. Yeah. You're not bullish enough. Yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to Olo. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock. Ayy. Rooms is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, is my guy for real, bro? Got friends right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, lock it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nuki on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me.